Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Deku becomes a hero part 1. If you guys enjoy this what if and want to see part 2, comment down below and let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content. And leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends and check out the description in my playlist. The author of the story Apprentice of Prince Firefly from 𝐴3. So let's start the video. This is the same villain that attacked me earlier. The villain has a hostage. Someone else is in trouble because of me. Maybe I shouldn't have sprayed All Might in the face with paint. The villain was rampaging. None of the pros could beat him. They said they don't have the right quirks. Izuku, save him, the voice in my head whispered. I don't have a quirk. What can I do when they can't do anything with their quirks? I see his face. I run. Someone yells for me to come back. I ignore them. What do I do now? I can't fight. A weapon or something. My backpack. I throw my backpack at the villain. He's hit in the eye. He loses his grip on the kid. He takes a breath. I recognize his face well not. It's the same pale olive skin tone, the same cherry-colored eyes, and the same blonde dandelion fluff. The only difference is he's in pain. 𝐀𝐦 is in danger because I sprayed All Might. I caused 𝐀𝐦 to be hurt. There's only one way to save him. Grab my hand. I yell. 𝐀𝐦 yanks his hand out and grabs mine. I pull him out as quickly as I can. He ends up on top of me. My head throbs. My vision blurs. The concrete beneath me digs into my back. I roll across the ground. I sit up and vomit. Are you okay? Is that a wig? 𝐀𝐦 asks in a voice that shouldn't be so loud. I give a thumbs up and tug at my wig. It's uneven. I position correctly and push the loose strands out of my face. The blonde and pink strips abide by their own gravity. 𝐀𝐦 looks unscathed. That's good. I think I have a concussion. The villain was beaten. Is it raining? My ears are ringing. What is anyone saying? 𝐀𝐦 pulls me to my feet. Pros surround us and congratulate us. Reporters surround All Might. Someone offers a spot at their agency after graduation. I see 𝐀𝐦's glare deepen. I walk off. I need to get home. I hear footsteps behind me, but they disappear. When I reach my apartment, I'm greeted by a hug. Not right now, 𝐴𝐻𝐿. I think I have a concussion. I push her away and she runs away to grab a first aid kit. I pull off the wig and remove my cap. I feel around my scalp for injuries. Hey, Sprout, what's the level? My brother asks gently. Green, head wound, concussion plus bleeding. That sucks, 𝐽𝐬 puts elegantly. I chuckle. 𝐴𝐻𝐿 comes back in screeching. I sit on the couch. This is gonna hurt, Kumo. Don't move. Don't worry, 𝐴𝐻𝐿. I can take the pain. I'm more reassuring myself than her. Apparently, my nerves weren't convinced because the stinging from the peroxide got me. I passed out, I think. I woke up around sunset. 𝐴𝐻𝐿 wasn't in the room. 𝐽𝐬 was. Hey, I'm not dead. Congrats. Since the sun is almost down, you need to get ready. Unless you're holding off until tomorrow night. 𝐽𝐬, I promised them I'd hit it today. I am yarning Endeavor's hero agency no matter what. As a bonus, I'm painting dicks under the yarn. Here's something else you know. You have a concussion and you're still gonna entertain your fans. I think I'm good. As if the universe gets some great joy in proving me wrong. Nausea starts up. I'll still do it if I lose an arm. They want this and I'm happy to oblige. Let's just go. Grab a helmet. No. Can I drive? No. I stuff my hair under the cap and pull on a purple wig that someone left on the floor. It wasn't me. I put mine on the mannequins. I put white contacts in. I'm so used to it at this point that it doesn't hurt. I bag all my yarn balls. Mikumo Akatani is ready to leave. I should explain. My name is Izuku Midoriya, but right now I go by Mikumo. When I was 12, my mother and brother died in a fire. I was lucky I got out. I've had nightmares about it for a while. The apartment I live in was the one that caught fire. They fixed it up in 2 months, but nobody wanted to live in a place where a kid died in, 2 kids according to the news. I changed my name because I didn't want to be accused of identity fraud and I didn't want anyone to know I survived. It's easier to cope if no one brings it up every second or takes pity on you because of it. 𝐀𝐻𝐿 normally wouldn't have taken anyone's hand. My death must have changed him. He mellowed out. Since I was 4, 𝐀𝐻𝐿 bullied me because I was diagnosed as quirkless. Actually, all the kids did. How would he feel if he knew I saved him? The last time I offered my hand to him, he shoved me in the river. I was trying to help him out and make sure he was okay. He smacked my hand away and said he didn't need my help. He stood up and shoved me. When I started crying, he laughed and said I was a weakling. The other kids laughed too. 𝐀𝐻𝐿 yanked me out of the water by my shirt and said a hero doesn't need to be saved. If a hero can't save himself, then he's just collateral damage. Back to the present. Don't get lost in the memories. Can I be a hero? It's something I've always wondered about. I once asked All Might that during his yearly Shizuoka visit. I was 12. Hey, Sprout, we're here. Get in and out quickly. If you need more time, I'll commit a felony. Thanks, but I'm good. I don't think 𝐽𝐬 was joking about the felony. He'd commit arson just to be on the news so his dad could see. The building is pretty big. Luckily, it's easy to find 𝗫𝐷𝐿's office. If I know anything about this man, I know he doesn't like All Might. All Might, dicks, swear words, and gang insignias. This is what will pepper his office from floor to ceiling. It takes about an hour. I film the entire process. I take a couple of pictures in front of the yarn walls and his yarn chair. After cutting down the footage and making it about 10 minutes, I post it. I was talking throughout the video. Otherwise, it'd be only about 2 minutes long. The first commenter, as usual, was 𝐀𝐦 He always had something to say about my 𝗫𝐷𝐿 stuff. He loves it when I do things like this. Actually, yarning 𝗫𝐷𝐿's office was his idea. The rest of the commenters came in with normal nice jobs or lols. Somebody asked if I was gonna make a stained glass portrait for anyone. Stained glass is not one of my skills. I have a friend though. He doesn't know of my quirkless status, but he doesn't seem to mind quirkless people. 𝐀𝐦, it's a wrap. Let's go. I hop on his bike and grab onto his jacket. He's wearing the coolest jacket ever, courtesy of me. Last Christmas I made a special order to get this jacket. BTW, custom orders are expensive. It was worth it though. That same Christmas 𝐀𝐦 got me a music box. That wouldn't mean much to most, but the spinning fairy inside was modeled after my mother. Mom always said she wanted to fly one day. Too bad she's not flying like a fairy, but like an angel. God better keep her happy, or I might have to fight him. 𝐀𝐦 parks in the alley right under my window. I pull myself up the rope and inside. I like to do it this way to work my body out. 𝐀𝐦 can't because he has asthma and might die from too much exercise. As I always say, asthma's a bitch. It's a good thing there's an elevator. When 𝐀𝐦 finally reaches our apartment, I'm ready for bed. We say our good nights and go to our respective beds. 𝐬𝐿 snuggles next to me. It's May 10th. The nightmares always get worse around this time. No chance of going back to sleep. Might as well write down my thoughts. The flames flickered and danced around my ankles, the heat piercing through my skin to the bone. The crackling and creaking of burning support beams with only the screams louder. The fire whispered taunts and offers in my ear. A choice to save one of three. I couldn't speak, my tongue felt like lead, and my mouth was a desert. Deku, I heard the screaming far away. 𝐀𝐦, the fire laughed and suddenly everything was engulfed by flames. That's when I woke up. The choice wasn't for me, it was for Dreamscape 𝐀𝐦. The choices were me, Mikumo, and Mom. The fire talks as a way of my subconscious taunting me and Dreamscape 𝐀𝐦. My lack of being able to speak might signify I was already dead in the dream. Fuck you, subconscious, I don't need your messages. I pull on the peach-colored wig and set in my amber contacts. I slip on my red sneakers and head to the kitchen. I'll just grab a Pop-Tart and go for a walk. Cinnamon for today, nice. I slide down the window rope and enter the fresh air. I take a deep breath and smell blood. Wonderful. I hear a thud. Even better, an ongoing fight. I turn the few corners and make it to Knockout Alley. We call it that because fights are always happening here. No cameras or patrol lines here. Looks like Macho Machai and Banana Slam are fighting again. Can't they just accept the tie and move on with their lives? Unlikely, a voice says out of nowhere, making me jump 5 feet up. Why do you say that? I can't believe I was thinking out loud again. Well, ever since they met in high school, they've been at each other's throats. It makes it worse that their street names have the same theme. Yeah, I can imagine that being a trigger for some. Someone got mad at me for picking 𝐀𝐦 because they were going with Falcon. I said I wasn't copying anyone. I also implied he copied after a Marvel hero or our number 3 hero. Eraser had to save me. What's your name? Akatana, your street name, kid. Nobody wants your slave name. 𝐻𝐸, since the slave name is supposed to be our government name cause we're slaves to the government. What would it be if I used 𝐻𝐸 as a hero name? It'd be your government name. They no longer care about that. They care about 𝐻𝐸 the hero only. What's your name? 𝐀𝐦. Isn't that your real name? I'm a slave to the government, kid. This is all I have left. Nice to meet you, 𝐀𝐦. Are you the 𝐻𝐸 that's been tagging hero billboards and 𝗫𝐷𝐿's hero office? Depressed 𝐻𝐸 baby and depressed 𝐻𝐸 prince. Yes, that's me. I would arrest you. But the heroes that get tagged get more popularity. And they actually want to get tagged. Really? Then I have to keep doing it. I noticed you tagged one of mine early on. You stopped after that. Could you explain? Who did I tag early on? 𝗫𝐷𝐿, 𝐸𝐷, Gang Orca, and 𝐻𝐸x. Oh, I'm talking to 𝐻𝐸x. Nice. I thought about it and you're just as much of a slave as you are a hero. I didn't want to damage your image. If you want me to continue, I will. I'm trying stained glass next. Stained glass me in a bikini. That would be pretty cool. If you need actual proportions though, I will model. Did he just offer to strip? Yeah? No. No need. I can judge with my eyes. I've been drawing you since you debuted. That sounds so weird. Oh, you're a fan of mine. I'm a fan of heroes in general. I love all of you guys, except 𝗫𝐷𝐿, and that's why I love messing with y'all. Why don't you like 𝗫𝐷𝐿? Article Cliff Notes, he's a bad person. I don't mean to talk trash on your favorite. I get liking a hero surrounded by controversy. Who's your favorite? My favorite is Eraserhead currently, but All Might had been my favorite for a long time. Neither of them is surrounded by controversy. All Might, the controversy of my brain. You don't have enough experience to unlock that though. I hear the sound of a phone call. 𝐀𝐦 picks up and gives a quick on it. Gotta go kid, stay safe. I do my best every night. Bye. He leaves as quickly as he's known for. He never slows down. The fight had ended during my time talking with 𝐀𝐦. Both men were laying on the ground. They never understood. They could try beating each other without using their hands. A feminine voice shouts from my left. They, of course, start arguing about who would win. Since nothing serious is going on, I'm leaving. As I walk away, I hear the thuds fade out. I walk for about a half hour and reach the beach I finished cleaning last year. Tacoba Beach, now a popular spot for couples, or found families, in my case, with my training with 𝐬𝐻𝐸, Eraser, and 𝗬𝐬. The shell pile I was building up had moved. Nobody fucks with my shells. Then I see the line. I follow the shell line quietly. This reminds me of Finding Dory. At the end is someone setting them up in a spiral. I clear my throat and watch them move as if they didn't hear me. Excuse me. Nothing, not even an answer. I grab the person by their shirt. Immediately I get clocked in the jaw. Oh, who the fuck are you? That growl plus screaming. It's 𝐀𝐦. What the fuck is he doing with my shells? He knows he's not supposed to touch them. What are you doing with my shells? He's silent. I see him fidget with his ears. His hearing aids weren't on. Repeat. I said, what are you doing with my shells? I was rearranging them for you. I know you like the aesthetic of swirls. Why the fuck are you out at 4 in the morning? I could ask you the same question, Bakugo. You get all hours of your required sleep. Nightmares. Needed to focus on anything else. Same. Sorry I grabbed your shirt. Didn't mean to hit you so hard. At least you're ready for an intruder or whatever else. This was the closest I've heard him get to sorry, other than at the cemetery. He's never apologized. For about 10 minutes I sit in silence as he makes a spiral. The moonlight glints off him in random places. The most prominent location is his eyes, glowing like fireworks. I hear sand shuffling behind me. When I turn, I see an all-black figure with something silver around their neck. The scarf. Hi, Eraserhead. Lovely day we're having. Problem child 1 and 2. Where's the third kid? Getting a normal sleep schedule. Eraserhead shines a flashlight on both of us. He's checking for injuries. You have a bruise on your jaw. That was me. He came out of nowhere, so I punched him. It doesn't hurt. It's not as bad as the concussion from last month. Eraser gives a defeated sigh. He pulls 𝐀𝐦 to the ground and sits down next to us. Why are you up this early? Nightmares. We answer at the same time. Are you going to talk about it? You already know what mine feature, sir. Besides, I have a journal for this stuff. He waits for 𝐀𝐦's answer patiently. 𝐀𝐦 fiddles with a crab for a moment before it decides to scuttle away. It was about them. The fire swallowed them whole. I don't really want to talk about it. That's fine. Are either of you ever going to therapy? It's too expensive. No, I will pay if you agree to go. No, I prefer deep breaths and mental breakdowns at 2 in the morning. Since I was asleep for 2, my next breakdown should be Sunday. I would tell you that's unhealthy, but you already know that. Are you still training for the hero course? 𝐀𝐦 asks out of nowhere. Yeah, I can't stop training or all the muscle mass and mobility I built up will be for nothing. Fight me. Now? Yes, now. 𝐀𝐦 was up first. He pulled me to my feet. At least he isn't shoving me in the water. We get into position. I hear Eraser call start. 𝐀𝐦 comes flying at me. I roll under. Rolling was my plan, but 𝐀𝐦 grabbed my shirt. I reach my leg back and hit him behind the knee. He buckles forward and lands on top of me. I twist around until I'm on top. Boom. An explosion to the face. Eraser watches us the entire fight. When we've finally separated, he drops a plastic bag by us. It's first aid equipment. We're both sweaty and bloody at the end of our fight. He sustains more bruises and I have more burns. I patch up his injuries. He doesn't even glare. This is more than mellowing out. He changed a great deal. Would he change back if he knew I was alive? You missed them. He nods. He's already told me, without knowing I'm Izuku, that he bullied me. You hurt them though. He nods again. Why? Yamakumo was kind of funny. Deku, he was the nicest person in the world, other than his mother. I thought if I gave him push in a direction other than being a hero with no training or quirk, he'd be fine. I didn't plan for him to die in a fire. I wish I could have taken back everything I ever said or did to him. He didn't deserve any of the shit I put him through. You enjoyed his company. You miss your friend. We stopped being friends when I started being horrible. At first, I thought I was better. But then when Andy told me that wasn't true, I started thinking practically. Izuku couldn't be a hero because he was weak. If you're weak, you die. I wanted him to be stronger so he at least could be a hero without dying. You know how that turned out. And the nightmare, when I saw him again. It was like bargaining my soul. I said yes. The fire offered him back but took him out of my reach at the last second. I think I woke up crying. He was crying now too. I'm a fucking disaster. Aren't we all? Bakugo, he doesn't blame you. I think you know that deep down. Fuck. If he were alive, I would let him hit me and I wouldn't stop him, even if he came close to killing me. I know he wouldn't. But I'd let him. He would give me every hit I ever gave to him. Then he could decide if he wants to forgive me. He already has. He did years ago. You don't know that. I can feel it. Think about what you know about him. Does he hold grudges? I have never held a grudge in my life. I don't even blame the guy that tried to kill me last week. I know how he's gonna answer. He shouldn't forgive me. I don't deserve it. Everyone deserves forgiveness. Mostly because holding grudges hurts the soul. They never forget what you did and healing takes time. But they're open to you trying to change. And you already have from what I can see. His tears have stopped falling. I hate seeing him upset. We sit in silence for a while. My phone goes off for my 5:30 alarm. 𝐀𝐦 has school, right? He stands up to leave and pulls me up too. I start to wave bye, but he pulls me in for a quick hug. It only lasts a second, but it feels nice. He signs thanks and walks away. I smile as I walk home. Nothing is gonna ruin my good mood today. I have online junior high courses to finish, training for the entrance exam, a robotics class to enroll in, cleaning the apartment, calling 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝐬, finding the next hero thing to tag, and buying more groceries. One of those things can be dealt with by my fans, 2 are long-term, and I have all day to do one of those. Now that I have that sorted out, I can focus. The closest grocery store doesn't open for a while, so let's enroll in a robotics class. Then I'll study my main courses until lunchtime. 12:45 buzzed in front of my face. I was enjoying algebra. Check emails. I was approved for the robotics course. I'm starting Monday. Where's the money? Storage box. The key for the memory box. A tacky bag. Receipts. A notebook of villain quirks and counterattacks. Poker chips. And my music box key. I pocket the keys and go back to searching. I find 3 wallets full of cash and a pack of gum. Strawberry flavored. Why don't we have any coupons? And why aren't y'all ever home? Shouting won't make them appear. This is what happens when neither of the people living here does things legally. The front door opens. Himiko has a bag in her hand. I can hear you shouting from down the hall. Kumo, the neighbors are annoyed. Sorry. Also, coupons are in the kitchen drawer. There are more than 4 drawers in the kitchen. At least someone labeled them. The labels are weird though. 𝐻𝐸 51L drawer, laundering drawer, kitchen drawer, and mist drawer. Talia's drawer is in here too. There are 9 coupons. Free bread. I need bread anyway. We need veggies. Edamame, broccoli, and carrots. What fruit? Himiko. Pomegranate and star fruit. Okay, see you later. It's a normal store trip. Nothing weird happens at first. I feel like I'm being watched. The cashier is a bitch. I don't want to deal with her. Every customer is suspicious. I don't like them. I still feel like I'm being watched. It took forever to work out the coupons with the cashier. This is why I prefer to stay indoors. So that's who's watching me. Looks to be an underling for a villain. Wonder who wants me dead. Let's see. Dark red insignia on a black jacket. The insignia is a dragon with a green and purple crown. The Dragon's Court. The Dragon's Court is based in America though. The dragon himself decides on foreign affairs. What does the dragon want with me? For now, I'm gonna ignore him. He can't do anything until he informs his boss. Time zones can be horrid. I get back home without any trouble. The underling was outside the apartment building. I can see him from the window. There's a gang following me. Nice. What gang? Can I stab someone? Dragon's Court. Don't stab yet. Is Taoya back yet? I put the strawberry pack in the fridge. Not yet. The Dragon's Court is situated in America though. I peer at the bread. Looks alright. They're America-based, but foreign affairs is a common gang thing, especially drug-centered ones. I put the receipt with the others. What do they want with you? Do they want your blood? I've already got dibs. Maybe I can rope Taoya into making katsudon. I'll bread the pork myself. It might be that. Or they could want to experiment with me. What makes me quirkless, and will quirk-related drugs affect me at all? Quirkless people can donate their blood to anyone except for the antigen difference. For some reason, quirkless people end up Rh negative. I'm O and quirkless, so I can give to everyone. Quirk-related drugs like trigger probably wouldn't affect me because they target the quirk. Although you won't know unless you try. I had a run-in with a trigger victim before. That's when I met Eraser actually. About a year ago. It was night and I was just trying to clear my head. Ran into an assault. Fought the villain with my never-ending wit. Eraser finished him off, and as payment, gave me an autograph. Since then I've bothered him with all sorts of things. Buzz. My phone. Unknown caller ID. It's probably a hitman. Hello. Static on the other end. Okay, now it really is a hitman. Izuku. That voice. Dad. I can't believe I'm doing this. Taoya straightens my bow tie. I hate suits. You should have realized he would invite you somewhere high-end. I scrunch my face at him. He only smirks in response. I tap my foot. Sit still. You're only going to be gone an hour or 2. And you can change as soon as you come home. I was about to argue, but I remembered why I never wore suits. It's because I looked a lot like Dad. Seeing either me or Makumo in a suit made Mom think of him and she'd get sad. Are you done with my hair, 𝐬𝐬? The brush tugs on my hair. Almost done, sorry 𝐬𝐬. I chose to not wear a wig for this because Dad would probably prefer to actually see me. I'm keeping contacts in, mostly because they improve my vision. So your dad is the dragon? Yeah, over the phone, Dad told me he is the dragon, leader of the dragon's court. He had a feeling one of us was still alive, so he had 𝐬𝐻 follow me around. When 𝐬𝐻 reported seeing me in one of the wigs Dad sent money for, he hacked into my phone to get my number. Hey, if it doesn't go well, just send the devil emoji. I'll come with my knife. I give her a tight smile. Thanks, but it's just my dad. You won't need to come. It's your dad, and he's a drug lord in another country with workers in this country with him. You make a good point, 𝐽𝐬. Maybe he'll kidnap me and hold me for ransom. 𝐽𝐬 rolls his eyes and shoves me to the door. I wait a minute more before leaving. I turn on my location on my phone. Outside, a sleek black car sits in the driveway. The hood is polished enough to show my reflection. The tinted window rolls down. Password. Dad didn't give me a password. What do I do? My name is Egg and I'm supposed to meet with the dragon. I hear the sound of some clicking and playback of my voice. Finally, the car door opens. I slide into the seat. The drive is spent in silence. The guy driving keeps the divider up. The seats are coated in velvet or velour. The interior smells like a new car and vanilla. When we finally arrive, the door pops open. No further sound or movement is made. We're outside a restaurant I've never been to, but want to go inside. The Tengoku plate. Standing outside, holding the door for people, is my dad, dressed in a burgundy velvet jacket. His hair looks combed but given up on. My jacket is dark plum and I have a light gray bow tie with sparkles down the center. My shirt is navy blue and I have only one pair of nice shoes, so they're white. You're here. It's been a while. Yeah. He holds the door open for me. I push him in and close the door gently behind me. In the glow of candlelight, I can now see his shirt is charcoal gray and he has a dark gold bow tie. His shoes are dark brown. We're seated by the large, live fish tank that extends into the floor. A salmon swims right under my foot. So, what's America like? Every 2 towns is a flaming gay. I give out a snort. A couple of nearby people look over. I turn my face down to the table. I'm sorry, Izuku. Be a little more specific. He takes a deep breath. I shouldn't have left you 3 alone. If I had been here, this wouldn't have happened. Your job is centered in America. Considering the lack of legality, you need to be there to prove your worth as a leader. Don't regret a decision that had the best possible outcome. You're the reason we had a place because Mom couldn't find a job. Another person is rendered speechless so they can think logically and not emotionally. Since you're officially dead, the money no longer comes through, right? Yeah, but I found a way to make money at 12. He looks sad. If he saw Mom's eyes and my own, would he be sadder? If you want, I could set up an account for you. What name do you go by? I go by Egg. Now it's his turn to laugh. You know what I mean. Mikumo Akatani. My birthday is still the same, and if you want security questions answered to know it's me, Himura is for my mother, Cookie is my first pet, my first crush is 𝐾𝐿, and I'm ambidextrous. Tatsuki was your first crush. He gives me this look that says I could do so much better. No, he was my first friend, and that's the closest I'm gonna get to a crush. Do you think All Might counts for that question? No, he does not. Speaking of, are you still planning on becoming a hero? The answer is an easy one. Mom told me stories of when Dad was here and how he dressed like All Might for me or encouraged me to follow even the weirder dreams, like a swimming pool full of marshmallows. Yes, I'm gonna become a hero and save everyone. He smiles at me. Good. Now our waitress has looked at us at least 8 times. So pick something to drink. Okay, where's the kids section? That marshmallow pool was my bathtub and I made a s'more in there. Dad roasted it. There's even a picture of it in the family memories book. Dinner goes by without a hitch. Dad's funnier than I thought he'd be, but he does take every chance to make a dad joke. After the 3rd one, I started crying. He tells me about what 𝐬𝐿 and I were like as babies. I was a roller. I rolled around everywhere even when I started walking. I rolled into a box once. 𝐬𝐿 would put weird things in his mouth. He had to get stitches because he put a knife too close to his face. It cut the right side of his mouth. Dad could never tie his own tie, so Mom would do it for him. Anytime he would hold me, I would pull his tie tight enough to choke him. 𝐬𝐿 tried to eat his tie. Wait, who ties your tie now? Brainstorm. He's my second in command. Another man tying your tie for you. That's pretty gay. I never said either of us are straight. Where do you think you get it from? Mom. I knew she had a crush on Auntie once. Valid answer. Your mom used to date Mitsuki and, at that time, I was dating my teacher. Wow, I can't believe you dated your teacher. That teacher was your mother's a few years earlier. That's horrible. How old are you? Right now. No, 15 years ago. Yes, right now. I turned 37 on July 10th. It's an entire family thing. Both me and Mikumo are on July 15th. Mom is the 4th, and Dad is apparently the 10th. Mom is older than Dad. Mikumo was older than me. Fuck you, universe. I see what you're trying to pull. When we leave for the night, Dad comes with me to the apartment. He says he wants to meet who I'm living with. I've got nothing to worry about because they're all villains. I'm back, and I brought a guest. 𝐬𝐸 is the first to come. She has a knife in her hand and cookie dough on her face. Hello, I'm 𝐬𝐸. You're Kumo's dad, right? Yes, you must be his sister. She nods erratically, then points to the couch. Make yourself at home. Cookie and I are baking. She cartwheels away. Talia comes out of my bedroom a few minutes later. He's carrying my sheets. These need to be washed. I see where you get the freckles from. Yeah, the curly hair as well. He gives a nod towards Dad and goes to figure out the washing machine. The washing machine is either haunted or just broken because it never works unless we're asleep. I remember seeing them on the news. She's a wanted serial killer. He hasn't done more than vandalizing signs and walls with government propaganda and endeavor hate. Like my family, they're definitely interesting. They've never hurt you, right? Unintentional attempted murder with peanut butter ice cream. I hear him make a defeated noise. Not you too. That's another thing you got from me. An allergy to peanuts and strawberries. You suck. What? I'm not allergic to the fruit. Neither is your mother. I'm cursed. I can't enjoy strawberries. I heard they're really sweet. Do you think strawberry gum has real strawberry in it? Yes, but gum is heated in the creating process, so the protein you're allergic to isn't in there. No wonder I didn't break out in hives. I thought the gum didn't contain real strawberries, but heat actually destroyed the protein. What protein causes strawberry allergies? The 𝐓𝐴 proteins. I'm not reading the rest. So, do you like the apartment? It feels warm, like home, an oven, a hug. Yeah, what's going on with the walls? He's talking about the half paint job. We were painting the walls, but no one has that kind of motivation, so we add a random swipe of paint or a swirl each time we pass by a blank slate. We're painting the walls, sprucing it up a bit. We just don't have the focus or motivation, so we do one line a day. He nods in understanding. The reason we decided to paint over the walls is that the paint has a very strong smell and some parts of the wall look burnt. It made us all uncomfortable. Talia doesn't use his quirk out of spite and kindness. How long are you staying? Not long. I would stay longer, but I can't have Brainstorm in charge forever. He panics easily. It's the anxiety. I understand. I'm a restless ball of energy most days. Will you ever come back? Of course. I'll always find time for you. I'll only be able to visit a day though. I have to catch my flight in about an hour. My smile is sad. It's nice to have someone who knows you talk to you. I'd talk to Auntie, but she'd tell 𝐀𝐦, and I'm not sure I want him to know. I'll call you every week. You'll be so sick of me you won't want to come back to Japan. That could never happen. Come here. I give in to the hug. He's warm, must be the fire breath. I reach my hand up and mess with his hair. Izuku, this took forever to comb. I have the same hair, I know the pain. We joke around for a few more minutes before he has to leave. When it's time, I give him one last hug and wave him off. I also snuck some gum in his pocket. Can he be our dad too? He's better than both my parents. He's obviously better than my old man. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. I want to register with an analysis quirk. His second in command, Brainstorm, sounds like an analysis quirk. Are you shipping them? Maybe. Let's get me registered. Fine. 𝐬𝐸. What last name are you taking? Do you still want Toga? Nah. How about you ask your dad what Brainstorm's slave name is? I text him for Brainstorm's quirk, slave name, and age. Gotta know if he's old enough to have kids. Quirk, Brainstorm, he can generate thoughts at lightning speed. The backfire is if he doesn't have enough brain food, then his brain won't work. He's 40 years old and his name is Tomomi Tanaka. I show the response to 𝐬𝐸. She giggles. 𝐬𝐸 Tanaka has a nice ring to it. What do you think? Perfect. We have to get you registered like that too. I'm a serial killer. I can just change my name and be done with it. Oh, right. Now to change out of this suit. Just hand it over when you're done. When I'm safely in my PJs, I hand over the clothes. Talia sets up the bathtub for washing. 𝐬𝐸 hands me a cookie. Tasty. Oh, hang on. I pull Talia over and take a quick picture of all three of us. I send it to Dad with the tagline Hisashi and Tomomi's kids. The response is a picture of a blonde with hazel eyes. The blonde looks like they're about to pass out and die. They also have a very red face. That must be Tomomi. Perfect. I show 𝐬𝐸 the picture. She excitedly points to her hair. They're both blonde. Fate must be a strong force. Go to bed. Meow. I pick up Cookie and head to my room. Talia is salty cause he has to clean my nice clothes by hand. I tried to clean a shirt by hand once, but I somehow ended up shrinking it. I'm banned. I switch off the light and flop on my bed. Cookie curls into my side. Her green eyes glow in the dark. Cookie actually broke into this very apartment once, looking for food. She made a tray of cookies somehow. And that's how she got her name. Yes, she cleans her paws with water. Good night, Cookie. She meows again before vibrating. I close my eyes, ready for whatever nightmare decides to come. The morning of June 10th was an exciting one. I was to meet 𝗵𝗃𝐬 at the mall and 𝐀𝐦 would be joining us. 𝗵𝗃𝐬 fluffs the chosen wig for today. It's a curly orange, pink, purple ombre. It's a favorite one of mine. These wigs are all for hero cosplays. I can't remember who had their hair like this, but I remember what it looked like. It was scandalous according to reporters. Today, you are amber-eyed. I'm getting the eyeliner. Amber is one of 3 that gives me plus ultra vision. Turquoise and cherry are the other 2. Peering into the mirror, I can tell amber and sunset ombre is a good combination. Going to the beach daily has given me a ton more freckles and my base skin tone has darkened slightly. Today's outfit is black. Ripped, skinny jeans, a dark red tank top with MCR in glow-in-the-dark, black paint, and sparkly, plum Converse with midnight laces. I have my lip hoop sitting off to the right side, as usual. My eyebrow stud and hoops sit above my left eye in a curved line. All piercings are gold-plated. 𝗵𝗃𝐬 does my eyeliner for me. Of course, it's the sparkly kind. She gave me black cat eyes. Do you want lip gloss or chapstick? No, but your lips are dry and chapped. Yes, but no. Where's the Vaseline? I wait for 𝐀𝐦 to answer the call. While footsteps sound, I put on my dragon ear cuff. It's gold, red, and badass. 𝐀𝐦 shoves the jar at me. I dab a little on my lip and carefully avoid my lip ring. I'm ready. 𝗵𝗃𝐬 looks me over. I notice the nail polish set she had out. I glance at my nails and grimace. I chewed them off. It's my nervous habit. I'm trying to break it, but that's going nowhere. You're supposed to meet them where? The mall on 5th. And you'll be getting there how? I'm walking to keep my leg strength up. And you'll be coming home when? 𝐀𝐦, I'll be home after sunset. What's with the questionnaire? I'm just hanging out with my 2 closest friends. That's the issue. He doesn't want them roping you into doing something you'll regret. Fuck, stop thinking out loud. Regret like what? Something that could end up with a permanent responsibility. 𝐀𝐦, what the fuck does that mean? He doesn't respond. After a few minutes of struggling, he decides to rock his arms like he's holding a baby. Oh, no, that's gross. I can't believe you'd think that. Where'd that idea come from? You're all teenagers with hormones. Where do you think it came from? Maybe my hormones don't work. I've never been attracted to a soul unless that crush on All Might counts. How old are you? I was 9 when I had the crush. Right now I'm 14. Kumo, you have to meet them in half an hour. Go. Sprout, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Okay, I can't believe he insinuated I would do that. That's disgusting. Are my hormones broken though? Or do I not know what a crush is like? Back to his final statement. The stuff he would do: commit a felony, buy ice cream from a drug dealer, get a tattoo underage, dye his hair, and drink a pint of shampoo as long as it's filmed. Things he would not do: kiss someone without doing a background check, sleep with a stranger, say something nice about his father, eat healthily, buy minors alcohol, and get in a fight because he's bored. The bar is on a roller coaster apparently. Breaking the law is okay, but don't kiss your best friends. Like either of them like me like that. What of my quirkless status? I doubt either of them would want something like that. Someone, I mean. Honk. Whoa. Watch where the fuck you're walking, little girl. Watch where the fuck you're driving. The light's red, asshole. I have road rage and I'm walking. This is hilarious. Also, cliché rude old driver is very cliché. Wow, I'm flying. Nice. I wonder. I'm heading towards the mall on 5th Street. Thanks. No sound other than the wind whipping. I land in front of the doors. There's a gust of wind behind me. I turn around. Hey, 𝐀𝐦. Thanks for the ride. Did you know it was me? From the start. I hate people like that guy. I understand. I can be patrolling and someone will yell at me about flying too close to the ground. It's a nightmare. Old people don't like us, young people, because they're jealous of our age and the fact that we're changing the world more than they could ever dream of. True. So why are you all dressed up? 𝗵𝗃𝐬 thought I should dress up today since I'm going out in public with people. I'm just hanging out with my best friends. You wouldn't happen to be hanging out with an angry blonde or a bird-headed fellow, would you? That's 𝐀𝐦 and 𝗵𝗃𝐬. Why? He stops to think for a minute. I saw them earlier. They were pretty loud. Oh, have a good day. You too. And off he goes. So 𝐀𝐦 and 𝗵𝗃𝐬 were yelling. I didn't think 𝗵𝗃𝐬 could be loud. Were they fighting? Inside the mall is packed. So many people. I creep along the edge until I get to the fountain near the middle. I stand on top to look for them. I call 𝗵𝗃𝐬's phone and hear it not too far away. I hop down and go over. 𝐀𝐦 is yelling at a mall goer. He looks terrified. He catches my eye and signals help. Guys, what's going on? I was trying to ask this extra if he'd seen you. You were pestering me about finding a shapeshifter. That's the only kind of person with a different hair and eye color every day. Thank you for attempting to help them. Please go on your way now. So you were yelling at civilians? Yes, I was. You were late to the meeting spot. I thought you got lost. It was only 5 minutes, 𝗵𝗃𝐬. They weren't that late. Switching to they, them. Is it because I'm dressed more feminine? Did I ever tell them I use all pronouns? Well, this dumbass could get in a fight buying ice cream. Why did you bring that up? What he was referring to was a story I told him. When I had just turned 14, I was going out for ice cream with 𝐀𝐦. I got vanilla ice cream and some guy said he wanted vanilla, but they ran out. He said if I didn't give up my ice cream, he would hurt me. The only other flavors there had been peanut butter and strawberry chocolate swirl. I couldn't eat either of them. So I told him this was the only kind I could eat because of my allergies. He didn't believe me, so he decided to punch me in the face. 𝐀𝐦 had to hold my ice cream. We ended getting kicked out for the fight. The guy continued to beat me up and I got in a couple of hits. The Eraserhead showed up right on time and stopped the guy from further damage to my baby face. He also yelled at us for starting a fight over ice cream. Even so, they can take care of themselves. The only thing he can do is draw heroes to himself to save him. Or villains. Don't forget that. Villains aren't exactly the kind type. What makes you sure they would save you? I live with two. Another two are my parents in another country. Several thousand work for my parents and a few work in this country. Actually, one is watching us right now. They both glance around. Unkindness is being unsuspicious, but he's still pretty obvious. He has raven feathers in his hair. I found out he can turn into a raven. It's pretty cool. Stop wasting time. We came here to hang out, so let's do that. You can yell at my tardiness later. Some grumbling from 𝐀𝐦 before he agrees. We walk around the mall and all the various outlets. I think we spent the most time in Spencer's and Hot Topic. They had a new brand of hero-themed swimsuits. I had to get one. Look at this cat costume. This is only the accessories, correct? Where's the remaining pieces? It's all in there, dumbass. It's lingerie. Though, I noticed 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬's feathers puffed up at that realization. 𝐀𝐦 was just done with us. 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬 had a point though. In the bag, there was a cat headband, a cat tail, a bell choker, gloves, and socks that looked like paws, a tube top, binder thing, and a thick belt-looking thing. Hey, 𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐽, what's the belt-looking thing? He gives me a weird look and sighs in disappointed rage. It's not a belt. It's a fucking skirt. Oh, it won't cover much. It's not supposed to. Just put it down. I hang it back where I found it. There are several occult things too. We actually go to an occult shop. Someone offered a tarot reading to me. I accepted. They said I will experience great loss and great pain in the future. I already knew that. They also offered to do a tarot reading for my love life, which was a popular request. I declined. We got lunch around 1. 𝐀𝐦 paid because, according to him, he was the only one who could tolerate human interaction. I can tolerate it, just not most of the time. We were at the mall until around 4:30. Afterward, we went to Tacoma Beach. 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬 was sketching the spiral of shells. He told me he's not a fan of water, so I left him alone. I did splash 𝐀𝐦. Get back here. No, you're gonna hit me. He spent 15 minutes chasing me before sitting down. I crept closer to him slowly. After deciding it was safe, I sat next to him and draped myself across his lap. Hi, what the fuck are you doing? Taking a half nap. You're a very soft pillow. He shoved me off. I landed on a shell. You're so mean. Fucking deal with it. How elegant. 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬. He pushed me on a shell. 𝗀𝗏𝐾𝐻𝐿. You did lay on him. That is uncomfortable to most. He was unable to see the sand from his position, so he wouldn't know there was a shell. He almost said dark shadow, lol. He's taking 𝐀𝐦's side. That's so mean. Freckles, are you okay? My stomach hurts now. Come here. You better not hit me. The biggest eye roll in 𝐀𝐦 history. He grabs my arm and drags me over. He sits me on a clear spot of sand. He reaches his hand over and I flinch because his quirk is activated. He rests his hand over my stomach. He's making himself a heating pad. Fuck yes, I'm gonna bother him for this next week. After a few minutes the pain fades. But this is too nice to stop. You've had it for 15 minutes. Does it still hurt? No, but it's so warm. Can I keep it? It's my hand. You can't keep it. Frowning, I turn away from him. I can sense the eye roll. I look over to 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬. He even shaded his sketch of the spiral shell. Looks great. Are you planning on making that into a stained glass project? 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬 looks over at me. His feathers puff up a little. I did make a plan too. Can you show me how to stain glass? I have a request from a fan to make a Hawk's glass art. Of course. Is next week alright? Perfect. I have a final yarn bombing project anyway. That yarn bombing project is yarning the HPSC's main building. Just one wall of it. It's a big and illegal project, so I need my scouts to be ready. Those scouts are 𝐀𝐦, 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐽, and 𝐀𝐦. Stop breaking the law. No, sir. I made a commitment and I'm following through. If you get arrested, you can't be a hero. Also, does Eraserhead know you're doing this? No, but does he need to know? 𝐀𝐦 shakes his head at me. He's just done with my antics. 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬 seems to be smiling. I know neither of them would turn me in. If they were going to, they would already have. The sun is starting to set. My hair is going to match the sky. My eyes match the sun. Perfect. I have a camera. Can you two stand in front of the shoreline? I hate pictures. Sure. Come on, 𝐵𝑃𝑃𝐻𝐻. 𝐀𝐻𝐿 grumbles some more but complies in the end. I set up my camera to count down until the picture. I quickly run over to them. Click, the photo comes out. I race over and gently pull out the photo. It looks beautiful. I place it with the stack of photos I took today. I smile at them. Today was fun. What do you think? Yeah, 𝐀𝐦 says nothing. He just stares at me. 𝗵𝐻's feathers were puffed up and he seemed to be lost. 𝐀𝐦 has a weird look on his face too, like he was drugged. Are you guys okay? 𝐀𝐦 snaps his head away and looks at the ground. 𝗵𝐻 turns away quickly and goes to gather his stuff. That was weird. Are they sick from the heat? I peer at 𝐀𝐦's face. He's red. I place my hand on his cheek. I jump back before the fist connects. His face is hot. Must be the heat. I hold my hands in the water and splash 𝐀𝐦 and 𝗵𝐻 with it. 𝗵𝐻 looks startled and 𝐀𝐦 looks angry. What the fuck? You felt hot. I thought the heat was getting to you, so I was trying to cool you down. Thank you. Although if the heat is that bad for us, we should go inside. Yeah, you two should go home. Can you walk alone? Yeah, my house isn't that far. I should be okay. What about you, 𝐂𝐻𝐻? What do you mean? You have a habit of running into trouble. I don't want you to get hurt. I'll be fine. Bye. They repeat the bye as unsure as I sounded. How bad is heat stroke? I walk home on the usual route and make it halfway there before the usual trouble catches up. Hey, pretty lady, how are you? He is drunk. This should be fun. Just keep walking, I guess. Pretend you don't hear. Hey, you know it's rude to ignore someone. Keep walking. Don't look back. Hey, didn't anyone ever teach you manners? He grabs my arm and drags me back. Pretend you don't hear. Watch his lips. I sign how are you and wait. Does he understand sign language? After a minute he lets go of me. You're one of them, deaf people. Not really wife material. I sign no sir, I don't think I am. Although, your body does look nice. I count out 14 on my fingers. He doesn't acknowledge it. I put my hand in my pocket and send the devil emoji, hopefully. He grabs me again and I start kicking. He lifts me off the ground with some struggle. Think. He has me over his shoulder. I shove my elbow into a pressure point on his back. He drops me. I scramble to my feet. He grabs my ankle and pulls me down. Don't try to run. I'll make sure you enjoy it. I kick him in the face. Blood spills from his mouth. A tooth falls out. You little bitch, I'm gonna kill you. More threats are said, but they're all muffled by something glinting in the dark, silver and long. Something yellow comes into view. Eraserhead. My voice cracked. Fuck this weirdo. Problem child. What the hell does a devil emoji mean? I meant to send that to 𝗵𝐻. It's a message only we understand. Did he hurt you? No. I scraped my knee falling, but that's it. Right. Police are on their way. I'm walking you home. I would argue with him, but I feel safer with him. That fucker said some horrible things. I don't want to imagine what could have happened. I should have left as soon as I had the chance. Eraser talks to the officer that arrives and he come over to ask me about the situation. I answer what I know. I don't know the man. He smelled like alcohol. He threatened to hurt me. He grabbed me multiple times. And he attempted sexual assault. The officer thanks me for my time and leaves with the man. I start crying after a few minutes. Fuck off. I'm allowed to cry once in a while. Eraser brings me into a hug. He's not particularly warm and he seems uncomfortable hugging me, but it still feels good. I spend at least 10 minutes bawling my eyes out. After drying my tears, we start walking towards the apartment. I go down the alley with 𝐀𝐦's bike, only for it to not be there. I look at the rope still hanging from the window. He's not home. Eraser waits for me. I start climbing up. I get to the top just as the crash of a building sounds. I wave to him as he leaves. When he's faded from my view, I go into the living room. 𝗵𝐻 is sitting on the couch, watching cartoons. I check my phone and the time reads 7:32. The cat on screen starts crying. He curls into a ball. 𝗵𝐻 pets the screen. Where's 𝐀𝐦? He said he had a felony to commit. Left about 10 minutes ago. Oh no, I'll deal with him later. What's for dinner? I go into the kitchen. Sitting on the stove in a container with my name on it. It also says to warm for 5 minutes in the microwave. I take off the sticky note and pop it in. While I wait, I wash my face, take out my contacts, put away my wig, and change into my PJs. The microwave beeps so loud I jump. I pull out the food and drop the container. That was hot. I'll pick it up when it's cooled down a bit. For now, I check my camera. It has a small scratch on the lens. I change out the lens. All photos are fine. I write the people in each photo, the date, and the time each was taken, on the back. 𝐀𝐻, did you have fun today? Yep, it was really fun. I put the photos in my photon drawer. 𝗵𝐻 brings me the food container I left on the floor. She takes the lid off for me and passes me a pair of chopsticks. It's 𝐀𝐦. He figured you'd need it. I don't know about need, but I definitely want this. Today was supposed to be happy and fluff, but it ended with angst and pain. The only thing that could make this worse is if I had a nightmare. I probably won't be spared. I pull up my phone calendar while I eat. I set in next Sunday as learning stained glass art. Wednesday is set as yarn bomb HPSC, and Thursday is set as request day. Friday is when I finish up requests and post them so they can be enjoyed Saturday. I finish dinner fairly quickly. 𝐀𝐦 makes 𝐀𝐦 almost exactly like my mom did. I miss her cooking. She always said her special ingredient is love because she loves the people she's cooking for and she loves to cook. She could have been a master chef, but she thought the people in that profession weren't very nice. A thud makes me jump off my bed. I gather my dishes quickly and peek out. The door was slammed shut. 𝐀𝐦 was standing in the living room talking to 𝐬𝐿. Gasoline and burnt chicken filled my nostrils. 𝐀𝐦, what's going on? I committed a felony. He looked angry and sad, but worry clouded his entire stance. He was asking without asking. I'm tired. Today was pretty chaotic. I'll talk to you in the morning. Good night. Sleep well, 𝐀𝐦. I nod at her and head to the kitchen. The container is left to soak as I head to my room. On the way, I hug 𝐀𝐦 and 𝐬𝐿. When I reach my room, Cookie circles my ankles. She pats my ankle, which sends a jolt of pain through me. I stumble back out, my nerves finally catching up with this realization. I grab an ice pack and go back to my room. I flop on the bed and regret that decision when the bounce rocks my ankle the wrong way. I lay the ice on my ankle. Cookie snuggles into my side. I lay still for a few minutes. I can hear the ticking of the metronome in the kitchen. Something crashes to the floor. I jump but stay on the bed. I take all my pillows and set them up so I can sit up. What was that noise? Silence. Some shuffling can be heard. Quiet talking makes its way over to me. A familiar face pokes its head around the door. Eraserhead. I saw you not that long ago. Wanted to check on you. What's with the ice? I think I sprained my ankle. The adrenaline finally wore off. Eraserhead sighs but then notices Cookie. He reaches out and scratches her behind the ears. You like cats? Do you have one? We can't get cats. 𝐻𝐡𝐢 is allergic to them. That sucks. Wait, you live with Present Mike. I live at UA. I keep forgetting you're a teacher. Present Mike is a teacher. What does he teach? English. How does your ankle feel? Cold and throbbing. Although, I think it's almost numbed all the way. That's great. Get some rest. And don't do anything that could damage your ankle further. Yes, sir. Can't be a hero if I can't walk. Why weren't you like that when Endeavor burned you last year? You see, 𝐀𝐦, my back has nothing to do with my ability to walk. My ankle, on the other hand, is very important. I can't train if I can't walk. I can train if the only thing I can use is my legs. You're impossible. I thought you called me insufferable. Have a good night, Eraser. Why are you changing up your wording now? Just go to bed. 𝐀𝐦 slams my door shut. I lay back while Cookie lays across my stomach. I feel exhaustion finally take a hold on me and I pass out. Also, I have another nightmare. I stared out the window. I needed fresh air, something I might not get because 𝐀𝐦 has me on house arrest. I did say I would rest, but I've been resting for 2 weeks straight. 𝐬𝐿 is the only one in the house right now, but she's asleep on the couch. If I asked, she might let me go somewhere. I'll just sneak out. I get dressed quickly and quietly go into the hall. I grab a snack bar from the kitchen and head over to the window. I lower myself to the ground and text 𝐓𝐿𝐻 to meet me at the beach. I start walking down the street. My ankle twinges with pain every time I put pressure on it. I pass a couple of pros on patrol. They're definitely not true heroes. When I say that, I mean they don't bother to worry about someone clearly in pain unless they get filmed or they're getting paid. That mindset was inspired by the hero killer, Stain. He goes around crippling and killing pro heroes who don't fit his standard of a true hero. So far, the only one is All Might. Speaking of All Might, he visited a children's hospital last week and gave the kids gifts. Things like coloring books, candy, and tablets were given. He also gave a huge money donation to the hospital so they could use it to cure kids whose families couldn't pay. I believe in Stain's ideology, I just think he's going about it the wrong way. Murder is never the answer. Those heroes could have families and it'd be wrong to hurt them like that. I brush the shoulders of one hero on patrol, Mount Lady I think. She doesn't even look my way. I continue. I reach Tacoba around 7:40. 𝐓𝐿𝐻 isn't there. Sitting on the sand is 𝐀𝐦. He's staring at the waves. I sit next to him. He doesn't notice me. Good morning. Didn't think you'd be here this early. He doesn't respond. Did he even hear me? Maybe his hearing aids aren't on. No, they're definitely on. Hello, 𝐴𝐻𝐸. Are you good? He stays silent. He's not even looking at me. I wave a hand in front of his face. I'll consider him dead if he doesn't respond soon. Time to do something dumb. I flick his earlobe and jump back before I can be hit. Why would you do that? You were lost in dreamland and I needed to get you out. He goes back to glaring at the sand. I scoot back over and stretch out my legs. He still stares at the ground. I finally see what he's looking at. It's a turtle nest, but they're all cracked. So he watched eggs hatch. You watched turtles hatch. Were they cute? He doesn't respond. Why is he ignoring me? One of the eggs was leaking something reddish. I turn it over slightly. That's a turtle embryo. I did not need to see that. I should have been here for them. Since I first saw them, I was doing everything I could to keep them safe. That's one of the reasons I moved your shells. I watched over them early in the morning and late at night, sacrificing my sleep schedule most of the time. I had a nightmare about them being stepped on by a giant monster. In the end, I couldn't save them all. The same goes for you. I wasn't there for you and I should have been. You being with the turtles might not have changed anything. Sometimes this stuff happens and we have to accept that. And I should have left when I had the chance. That drunk pervert let me go and I had ample time to run away for a few minutes. It's my own fault I sprained my ankle and nature decided that one baby turtle didn't make it. Don't beat yourself up. Throughout my talking his expression doesn't change much. Around the drunk pervert part, his eyes widen and I see a light bulb click in his head. He looks angry for the rest of what I say. Why are you blaming yourself? He's at fault. Why are you? Lay off the self-hate and guilt for a minute. You did nothing wrong. You couldn't have known that would happen. In either case, and even if you did, sometimes events can't be changed. Just accept that one turtle died and set up a funeral for her and accept I got injured protecting myself from an idiot. That's all there is to it. 𝐀𝐦 moves the other eggshells around the nest to circle the unhatched one. He proceeds to mutter something, I think a prayer, and cover the hole with sand. I bring over one of the lighter shells and set it on top. Rest in peace. We'll be with you one day. 𝐀𝐦 traces Shelly in the sand. I draw a small heart for her grave. We both sit in silence for a while. Around 8:20 �恵𝐻 arrives. �恵𝐻 is carrying several sheets of colored glass. 𝐀𝐦 is up first. He catches the glass seconds before the disaster. I catch �恵𝐻. Are you okay? You're not hurt, right? I'm okay. I suppose I'll need help. Get up, bird. Let's finish this quick. We set up things by Shelly's grave. There are like 12 different colors of glass. There's a roll of a ribbon-like thing. There are several stacks of sketchbook paper as well. I recommend sketching out what you want first. Then you can start cutting the glass. I nod and start my favorite process, brainstorming. Hawks would look good in green, so I'll keep a note of that for the final product. Since he's going in a bikini, I know exactly what to do. I'll give him a sun hat as well and he'll be laying on the beach. By the time I get to the cutting part, more people show up on the beach. I glance at them before cutting out pieces. I use dark green for the main body of the suit, tan for the hat, clear for the skin, yellow for the hair and eyes, and orange for the sand. It's looking beautiful. �恵𝐻 directs me in soldering. It involves the ribbon, which is actually copper film. I think I do it right because no one corrects me. While �恵𝐻 looks over my soldering job, I take a walk around the length of the shore. I pass a few odd people, but they ignore me so I ignore them. After the okay, I pick up my phone and take a couple of really good, sunlight, pics of the hawk's art. I switch over to film. �恵𝐻, can I film you? Yes, I have no problem. I click record and point the camera at the stained artwork. Hello, it's your boy, Egg, making stained glass artwork with my best friends. Since I'm a disaster and didn't know a thing about this craft, �恵𝐻 taught us how to do it. I bring the camera over to 𝗃𝐻. He waves at the camera. This is an expert in the art of stained glass and he's been making these for a little over a year. Show us what you worked on today. He holds up the piece. The sunlight catches it in a way that makes it shimmer. He tilts it and the colors change. It's ultimately an apple, but the way it changes makes me think of this legend I heard once about the first quirk. The very first 𝗀𝐻𝐸 was born glowing. A legend states the baby would glow different colors and sometimes it'd change depending on his mood, the time of day, or if he were asleep. Someone even thought the food he ate affected his glowing habits. Okay, onto my other friend. He made a piece too, though I don't know if he'll show. I hold the camera to his face and he holds up his work. It's a memorial for Shelly. Our unborn baby turtle is pictured as what she would have been if she made it out to sea. That's Shelly, the turtle who never got to be. This is a memorial for her and we're next to her grave right now. I point the screen at the grave. The shell and Shelly bold and obvious. I turn the camera back to my work. This is the hawk's art I was commissioned to make, and if you want better photos, go check them out on my Tumblr. If you want to visit the master 𝗃𝐻, go to Tacoma Beach. You'll find one of the three of us here. Signing off, bye. I post the video and flip over to my Tumblr to post the photos. After, I help 𝗃𝐻 pack up his stuff. His friend has a concert at noon and he needs to get ready because he said he'd play guitar for them. We wave him goodbye and sit in silence. 𝐀𝐦 set the artwork on Shelly's grave, propping it with the shell. The sun scattered the colors in a way that made me think of the actual ocean. I lean on 𝐀𝐦's arm and stare at the grave and the waves past that point. We should probably eat. 𝐀𝐦 shifts behind me. I sit up straight while he adjusts. He brings me back so I'm laying on his chest. I was killing his arm, wasn't I? His hand moves to my stomach and I feel his quirk activate. Yeah, I adjust his hand and relax into his chest. I think I passed out at some point. Opening my eyes gives me a full view of an angry 𝗀𝐬 who replaced 𝐀𝐻's position. I looked around and did not see him. Hi, do you have any idea how worried we were? 𝗃𝐻 called and texted me 8 times because she didn't know where you were and you weren't answering your phone. I only found out because I noticed you posted a video. I'm fucked. Maybe I can talk my way out of this. Sorry I left home. I just really needed some fresh air. Oh, I figured as much. I'm madder you decided to pass out in public alone. You do know how dangerous that is, right? I wasn't alone. 𝐀𝐻 was with me. I hear footsteps. 𝐀𝐦 came back and he has pizza. That doesn't make it better. Why? He's an honest kid. I'm also a ball of teenage hormones, and my entire life I've gotten everything I've ever wanted without asking. Oh, he thinks because 𝐀𝐦 is a teen with impulses that he'll actually do something to me. Why can't he just trust my friends? He could have done something to you while you were asleep. If I did anything to hurt you, I'd probably go find a crab to pinch me. Talia, nothing happened and nothing would have happened because 𝐀𝐦 is an honest kid and would never do that to someone. He may be an asshole, but he has a moral compass. 𝐀𝐦 proceeds to mutter, and a lack of desire. But we'll focus on morality for now. I give him a really face and Talia holds in a laugh. Okay, your friend is fine, but if he does anything to make you upset or uncomfortable, I will remove his fingers. Didn't need most of them anyway. Talia snorts at this. All right, enough. He might actually take your fingers. 𝐀𝐦 sets the pizza box down and pops it open. He sits next to me. Talia grabs a couple of slices and points to the small docking area. I'm going over there. Scream if anything happens. Enjoy your pizza. He walks away. I take in the entire beach. Mostly empty right now. There's a couple of older kids messing around. They look familiar. Oh, they're UA students. I saw them at this year's sports festival on TV. These are the second years. I tap 𝐀𝐻's shoulder and point to the kids. He continues chewing his pizza while looking. One of the kids disappears and all that's left is their clothes. I remember that one. He's gonna show up naked. I grab a slice and lean against 𝐀𝐻 again. Just as I predicted, the kid shows up again. Someone throws his shorts at him. There's some high-pitched giggling and someone flops onto the sand. I giggle because that's hilarious. I tug on my hair. First, it's stringy and dry. Second, it's dark. I forgot my wig. Thankfully, from lack of sun, all the green in my hair is gone. Sadly, my hair still looks similar to how it did years ago. And even better, it's starting to look more like 𝐀𝐻. Freckles, have you ever been in a fire? Ever been burnt? By fire, you mean building fire or forest fire? Because I've been in both. I've also been burnt by our number 2. Smoke inhalation isn't that bad to me. I've also been burnt training with you, and I was burnt a lot in my elementary years up to the first year of junior high. Why do you want to know? He stays silent. Back to silent treatment again. After a few minutes, he clears his throat. You called me 𝐀𝐻 twice. How do you know that nickname? I never told you I was called that. And none of the rejects you've seen me with after school call me that anymore. So, how? Well, shit. I fucked myself over. I need a good excuse. Here we go. I give my best quizzical look. The first part of your name is 𝐻𝐻. I just added the Chan because I thought a big tough guy like you needed a 𝐀𝐦 nickname. I didn't mean to say it to your face, but it's a total coincidence that you used to be called 𝐀𝐻 and I called you that. If you want, I won't call you that again. No, you can. It's fine. I miss hearing it anyway. Great. Okay, 𝐀𝐻. We're staying out until midnight. I have school tomorrow. We're staying out until sunset. I think next week we're gonna go swimming for once. If you have any other friends, invite them. I'll text 𝗵𝐻𝐬. I wonder if his music friend would want to come. I text 𝗵𝐻𝐬 the details for next week, then switch over to my Tumblr to see the next request. I hope they're not too difficult. One request asks for a cricket top 10 hero set. I might do that. Someone recommends yarn bombing a hero. I can't cover a person in yarn. I will legally be screwed. That would mean they'd see me. I can't have that. The only hero who has seen me and knows I'm Meg is 𝗏𝐷𝐿, and he doesn't remember what I look like because it was night and he was preoccupied with other things, like roasting me, interrogating a shopkeeper, thinking about what he'll do to his youngest the next time they train together. I still have a scar on my back from where the fire hit first. It's shaped like a star. It's a nice reminder of why I only accept fireproof binders now. Also, it looks pretty and badass. I hear 𝐀𝐻 talking, but it's not directed towards me. There's no one around. I look down. There's a face in the ground. Hi, you're a second year at UA. Why are you over here? The face's eyes look towards me. That's so weird. My friend, 𝐻𝐻𝐻, mentioned seeing you two over here by yourselves, and I thought I'd offer you a chance to play volleyball against some UA champs. What do you think? I'll crush you. Sounds like fun. Although, I would be more of a liability because I'm injured. 𝐀𝐻 can play though. 𝐀𝐻 looks a little unsure about playing now. The second year pops away and pops back up with his friends. I stand up and brush sand off. 𝐀𝐻 stands up as well and walks ahead of me. The older students seem thrilled to have us here. Once they figure out I'm only cheering my friend on, they point me to the sidelines with another kid. The kid is nervously staring at the sand. I sit next to him and he starts trembling. Is he okay? Ooh, he has pointed ears, like an elf. Elf senpai, are you okay? He gives a defeated sigh. Maybe he doesn't like being called elf. He starts chattering what sounds like a yes but ends up just covering his face with his hands. I want to go home. There, 𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐬. Things'll be better soon. As soon as the game starts, all eyes will be on me and 𝗏𝗏𝗏. And our new friend. What's your name again? Why's your hair like that? Why do you smell so sweet? Why do your eyes do that? After a barrage of questions and the anger slowly festering, he snaps. My name is Katsuki Bakugo and I'm taking all you second years down. He's gonna die. Think optimistically, Tamaki. He's gonna fly high and burn. I think 𝐻𝐸 will win. Amichiki-senpai gives me a weird look. That's too much optimism. Your friend is about to lose to Mirio. No one can actually beat him. 𝐻𝐸 competitively plays volleyball with Japan's national female champion. I think he'll be fine. If I remember anything about Auntie, it's that she won 8 victories for the women's national volleyball team and assisted in every other victory. That woman is a beast and 𝐻𝐸 was taught everything there is to know about the game. He's definitely going to win. The teams split up. Tagata and Hado-senpai are both on the opposing team. Apparently, whoever Heya is, decided to be on 𝐻𝐸's team to help him out against these monsters. He doesn't care. The match starts out normal. I think Hado started flying at some point. Quirks are allowed then. The ball reaches 𝐻𝐸's side and he shoots it with his explosions. Hado looks extra excited when she sees what happens. Throughout the match, Tagata goes under the ground and pops up at random intervals to hit the ball away. Nobody scores for a long time. 𝐻𝐸 has his thinking face on. The next time the ball comes towards 𝐻𝐸, he shoots his explosions in a way that looks weird, like he missed slightly. The ball shoots to the other side and Tagata pops up in the wrong area and 𝐻𝐸's side gets a point. The game passes there. He scored against Mirio. That's amazing. Told you I'd win. That was awesome. You must have picked up on my quirk then. So he can't see when he's underground and 𝐻𝐸 was playing on that small theory, which was confirmed when he popped out into the wrong spot. He goes through everything, including light, which means you can't see him when he's entirely intangible. He was projecting himself where he knew the ball would go when he saw where it was hit from, and that's how he was able to hit the rest of the hits, and this is quirk practice for him. The only aspect that is his quirk is intangibility. The rest are things he figured out to add on, like popping up. If he were to go solid under the ground, he would be ejected because mass is already there. And he has the memory and reasoning skills to calculate where the ball would go and remember where exactly that is while still underground and unable to see. That was correct. These are some terrifying high school kids. We're in junior high. I'm the smarter of us two. That dumbass is the nicer one. I was muttering that entire thing. I wonder if I can pay them to forget I just muttered all that. You're gonna be great heroes one day. We already knew that. We'll be the best fucking hero trio ever. 𝐻𝐸 said trio. He doesn't like working with people, but he's accepting being with me and 𝐓𝐢 for life. Trio, there's only the 2 of you. Our friend is somewhere else, but all 3 of us are gonna be a team. We practically are, right now. Well, that's great. Do you have a team name yet? No, we have 3 years to decide. True, I can't wait to see you 2 on the field. I wonder if Sir would like them. I now can see that Tagata is like All Might. Tall, blonde, blue eyes, and he has this aura of plus ultra positivity. This is exactly what could be considered a true hero. Wait, final test. Why did you decide to be a hero? He thinks for a moment. Others said I couldn't save others with my quirk, but I wanted to. I trained every day so I could save 1 million people. That's where my hero name comes from. lemillion. He's just here to save everyone and there is some underlying spite. If that isn't a true hero, then what is? Everyone starts goofing off and joking about things. Someone teases Tagata about his hero name. 𝐻𝐸 is looking over at the gravesite for Shelly. I glance over too. At the site, a small girl sits. She's covered in bandages and looks terrified. She flinches at something and runs off to a man. They disappear. Hey, sunset is approaching. We have to watch the sun dip. 𝐻𝐸 doesn't respond. Is he okay? He walks over to the sand and looks at his scrawl. It looks like a help me, but it's written poorly even for sand standards. That little girl must have written it. Next to it is an address. I take a picture of it and erase it. Next time I see Eraser, we'll show him this. 𝐻𝐸 nods and stares in the direction we last saw the girl. I look up the location on Google Maps. It's in a pretty sketchy neighborhood. Makes sense, I guess. I heard there were Yakuza in this area. Maybe there are other villains. When it's officially nighttime, we head home. Talia drives me there and makes sure I go to bed. Please give me a nightmare and an excuse to see Eraserhead quickly. Waiting for Eraserhead to meet us at the beach took a while. The first issue encountered, 𝐻𝐸 has school. The second issue, I forgot Eraser's patrol schedule and that could fluctuate depending on the villain count. We decided on day 2 that we had to show him this in person because some things can't be explained over the phone. By sad, we were almost tempted to bring it straight to a police officer. He finally showed up that night with someone else in tow. Eraser, urgent news. What's going on? I pulled up the photo while 𝐻𝐸 explained what we had seen. A little girl with bandages covering her arms and legs. A man took her away before they could do anything. She left this message in the sand by our turtle grave. I already looked up that address. There are a lot of criminals in that area. And Talia told me an old Yakuza gang might be there. Of course I told my siblings. They have underground connections. Eraser gives a deep sigh. He grabs me by both shoulders and pulls me to look at him. Problem child. You understand how dangerous this could be, right? Why did you wait until now to tell someone? We were trying to tell you. You're the only hero we know and trust. Besides, you can do an investigation without drawing attention to yourself. I'll have to look into this on my own. But for now, don't go looking in that area and don't do anything stupid or dangerous without informing me. Do you understand? Yes, sir. So who's that? I point at the new person. They seem to be content with just staring at the moon's reflection on the ocean waves. Hitoshi Shinsu. He will be with you for the night. I can't watch him at home, obviously. And Hisashi is out at the moment. He has chronic insomnia, so you should all bond over that. If anything happens, please call me. Sure, Dad. Just as soon as I stop bleeding from being stabbed. The most sarcastic part of that was actually Dad. From what I can see, this kid has purple hair, Eraserhead has black. Not a blood kid, so he's adopted. He can't leave him in the house. He's married to Hisashi. He tried to get me off the scent, but I know he's married to Present Mike now. This is Mikumo Akatani, and that is Katsuki Bakugo. You don't have to get along with them, but I expect you to stay with them for now. I'll see you later. If you do end up getting tired, then one of them can share their house. Yeah, whatever. See you later. Tell Dad I still prefer a dirty rat-infested tunnel to both of you. Eraser sighs exasperatedly. He gives one last look and walks away. Has Hitoshi been in a rat-infested tunnel before? Shinsu, it's nice to meet you. Just call me Hitoshi. Shinsu is the name of someone I would rather forget. So he doesn't like his father, his birth father that is. That's fine. Kaken is glaring at him. Why is he like this? Hitoshi glares back at him. What's up with the pretty boy? He looks like he's never lived a day on the street in his life. That's because he hasn't. I've lived on the streets for about a year in my entire life. Apparently, that was the wrong thing to say because it started more issues. So the nice one is the thug. Can't believe that the hard boy is the real softy here. Who the fuck are you calling softy, you spherical dumbass? I meant you clearly, but I guess I'll have to use pictures for you to understand. I hear the mini pops from his hand. I decided to stand in between them. How about we all sit down and talk about this? Get the fuck out the way, Spidey. A bitch is about to die. I didn't know people could predict their own death. Hitoshi, you're not helping. Sit down, guys. Don't fight over whatever you're fighting over. The dandelion started it. The purple fuckface started it. Jesus, fuck. Both of you sit the fuck down before I make you. You can't make me do anything. I grab Hitoshi's arm and flip him. He lands squarely on his back. I turn to Kaken, who lowers himself to the ground. Are you done? If you still have the energy, we can set up a fight. I need to train anyway. Ever since getting the cast off yesterday, I've been itching for a fight. Someone new to fight might be a good idea. I wonder if he has a quirk. What could it be used for? Fine, I'll fight. Hold up, String Bean. You probably can't even lift a microwave. What makes you think you're ready to fight him? Besides, you haven't stretched yet. Don't be so fucking dumb. While he makes a good point, he doesn't have to be so rude about it. Kaken, 3 laps around the beach. Hitoshi, get ready to work. This training is going to kill him. Kaken makes a slicing motion across his throat with his thumb as a blade. I wave him off. To get started, I want you to try and lift me. I'm light, so this should be relatively easy. He only picks me up off the ground an inch or two. He didn't lift with his legs. Alright, start with squats. I'll tell you when to switch to something else. Kaken was coming up on the halfway point of lap 1. That's good. I matched the position I want Hitoshi in. Every squat is important. By the end of Kaken's first lap, Hitoshi's legs looked exhausted. No stopping now. Alright, now I want you to flex your arms. Like this. I bring my left arm out to my side. I slowly bend it up into an All Might position and then bring it back down. Do that with both arms. Alternate between which one you do. Start. I continue my All Might arms while watching Hitoshi and Kaken work. If he starts slacking, I'm making him do push-ups. Can Hitoshi do a push-up? I'll have to check. Katsuki Bakugo. If you just used your quirk to leap farther, you will stop and do 20 push-ups immediately. He stops where he is and does the push-ups. Hitoshi smirks at him. I turn towards him. Give me 10. You don't laugh at another's misfortune. He can't physically do more than 3 push-ups. I pull him to his feet. 10 jumping jacks until you're strong enough for push-ups, and then get back to flexing. He grumbles something and begins his jumping jacks and eventually goes back to flexing. Kaken is close to the halfway point of lap 2. Alright, pause. How do your arms feel? He lifts his arms a little and cringes. He has a grimace on his vampire's face. I'd give the pain a 6. We'll work on your tolerance. Get into a lunge position. Ready? Hold that thought. I pick up my phone. Somebody texted me. Fumikage is up at this hour. His message reads, are you up? Hitoshi, take a 5-minute break. I don't have water for you, so just try deep breaths and meditation. Sit cross-legged, but don't strain yourself. I go back to my phone. I reply with I'm at 𝐀𝐦 𝐍𝐴. It takes him a moment to respond. It's a simple I'm on my way with a walking emoji. He's walking here. Kaken, hurry up on those laps. Fumi's on his way. Kaken gives off a pop before he starts gradually getting faster. Glancing at Hitoshi tells me one thing. He definitely doesn't exercise often. Also, he failed relaxing breath school. I instruct him to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. It helps out. 𝐀𝐦 was finishing up his third lap when I had Hitoshi get started on lunging. He had switched sides by the time 𝗵𝗃𝐻 arrived. He wasn't ready for the adventure in front of him. 𝐷𝗏𝐻 was free for once. Hi, you're just in time. 𝐷𝗏𝐻, it's nice to see you. Hi, Miku. Hello, Katsuki. Hello, new person. Hitoshi blinked like a surprised cat. He's going through a hard time. Too many people for his introverted self. This is Hitoshi Shinsu. He prefers Hitoshi. I'm training him because he has a lot of energy and he and 𝐀𝐦 were fighting. Also, I figured he wanted to be a hero as well, so this is extra training for the entrance exam. The way Hitoshi's head snapped towards me made me think I just admitted to sleeping with a teacher. I have not done that, it's just an example. That's awfully kind of you. Mind if I join? If you want your arms to fall off, start butterfly circles. Hold your arms out to the side or I'll cut them off and hit you with them. Hitoshi gives me a weird look and 𝗵𝗃𝐻 shakes his head at me. I was just kidding. Higher than that, Toshi. 𝐀𝐦, you do this too. 𝐷𝗏𝐻, you aren't required to do this, but I want to. It looks like fun. Okay. I turn towards the others. I swear if you don't raise your arms I will make you do 20 push-ups. 𝗵𝗃𝐻, give me 15. 𝐀𝐦, 1 lap and 20 push-ups evenly spaced. No wonder people like being personal trainers. This is fun. I mean, it feels great to help people get into shape, but they're listening to me and that's a rare thing in my life. Hitoshi, give me 15 jumping jacks immediately. You will return to butterfly circles as soon as you're finished. He nods his head, but the look he gives me looks downright murderous. I've seen that look a lot. Now, if only when I fended off a villain one time they'd stay away. That's not how it works in fights, unfortunately. 𝗵𝗃𝐻, back to butterfly circles. They're doing great. 𝐀𝐦 has the evenly spaced thing mostly down. 𝗵𝗃𝐻 understands higher decently. Hitoshi just finished jumping jacks, and 𝐷𝗏𝐻 is perfect at whatever they're doing. Switching time. Alright, I need you 3 to get on the ground. Hurry up. Copy my moves. High plank position, just like you learned in gym class. Hands are shoulder width apart. Bring those hands closer, 𝐀𝐦. Flat palms, Hitoshi. Take one hand and touch your opposite shoulder. Now do it with the other. Repeat this. I'll tell you when you're done. Every time I tap my right shoulder I stop to look at them. One of the times I look up my phone buzzes with a notification. Apparently, it's only an hour to midnight. We have some more time. Hitoshi doesn't have nearly enough strength to stay like this forever. Alright, Toshi, you get up. Touch your toes. If you can reach your toes, then go farther into the sand. I want you to reach. Start. Hitoshi seems to be regretting his life choices. 𝐀𝐦 just switched to push-ups at some point. 𝗵𝗃𝐻 was still following orders, at least. I have Hitoshi switch around arm and leg workouts every 5 minutes. 𝐀𝐦 handles his own workout for the rest of the time. But if he makes a snide remark or rude comment, I have him do a lap. Now for fighting. I'm gonna teach you how to throw a punch. I think I can manage. Dumbass, you're gonna lose in 5 minutes. 2 laps. That's unnecessarily rude and I want to talk with him alone. 𝐀𝐦 shrugs and gets to running. 𝗵𝗃𝐻 steps away and practices throwing punches with 𝐷𝗏𝐻. I turn back to my victim. If you can throw a punch, then do so. I won't hit back, I will only block. Go ahead. He runs at me and sends a punch towards my face. I block easily, telegraphing, and that was sloppy. Try again. He sends another punch towards my chest. It grazes my hand and he jumps back. He holds his thumb for a minute. You need to work on how you hold your fist. It's more like an S in sign language. He grips his hand into a fist and sends a barrage of punches. They're all too slow to do much. Every one of them has an obvious destination. I block his next hit and flip him onto his back. I smile down at him. So, who needs help learning to fight? He grumbles something. What was that? I do. I'm glad you're ready to keep learning. Teaching him to fight. Not that hard. He already knows the places to aim for. He just needs help putting force behind his punches and not telegraphing his moves. So, where'd you learn to fight? Dad. Porcupine. A mix of Eraser, 𝗵𝗃𝐻, 𝐀𝐦, and analyzing hero videos. Who are 𝗵𝗃𝐻 and 𝐀𝐦? Also, you can't pick up fighting from just watching a video. 𝗵𝗃𝐻 and 𝐀𝐦 are my siblings and also criminals. Also, I knock him to the ground with a swift kick. I learned that from Mirko vs. Gumball. Not many people remember that, but I do because her hair was stained pink that entire week. She decided to make it rose gold so it didn't look like bubble gum. Lucky for her, it washed out after a week. So what have you learned? Don't question anything you say because you know more than I do. No, it's reasonable to question some things I say, but only if it's to help you learn more. It's perfectly reasonable you questioned whether I could teach you or not because I'm a stranger and you clearly haven't had a lot of people be honest with you. He looked like he was about to respond, but he just looked at the ground. It's easy to read him. I've met people like him on the street. No home to go to. no one to trust, a lack of good fighting skills, mommy or daddy issues, a need to prove he can do it alone, and eyes screaming out help me while he's unable to speak his wants and needs because they were ignored for so long. Toshi, how about we take a break for now? Are you hungry? I could bring you all to my place and we could eat, relax, and possibly pass out, as unlikely as that is. He looked shocked, then scared. The color drained from his face and immediately came back in a brighter red. You don't want me in your house. You barely know me or what I am willing to do. If you're gonna steal something, I want you to think about who lives in my house. 2 of the people who trained me, and me. The other people going are 𝐀𝐦 and 𝐍𝐭. Also decent fighters with very perceptive vision. Are you sure you want to make a mistake? Or do you just want to accept this offer and go inside a warm building? He thinks for a moment. I'll consider this mission accomplished. Now the only issue is hiding all the stuff that reflects me as Izuku Midoriya. Why don't I think before I speak? Most of the pictures with mom and Mikan are in the trunk. And then there's the one by my bed, but they won't be going in my room. The music box is in my room as well, so I should be fine. Itoshi-kun, Dark Shadow wants to ask you a question. Your name is 𝐍𝐭. What did you want to ask me, Dark Shadow? Are you single? Like not dating or married to anyone? I slap my hand over my mouth to keep the laugh in. Hitoshi looks even more shocked than when I offered to have him at my house. Does he give the same treatment to everyone else? They don't have to ask because both I and 𝐀𝐦 are obviously single. They're unsure of you, which is a compliment. They think you're interesting. Oh, makes sense. I am single because I have no friends. Oh, you have friends now. I'm also not interested. Okay, I'm hungry. My place. It's close by. Fine, I'll deal with your psycho family, 𝐀𝐦 says as rudely as usual. Food. Dark Shadow exclaims loudly. I guess that means we're all in agreement. 𝐓𝐬 the quiet spoke. The walk back isn't as quiet as I'd like. 2 grumbles insult each other every 5th word. One hyper-child voice talking almost non-stop, and tired parent energy telling the hyper-child to calm down periodically. Vehicles are almost non-existent and we don't run into anything. I was hoping there would be a villain attack. Can't ever get what you want, huh? We arrive at the apartment and I go straight into the alley. 𝐀𝐦 turns his phone flashlight on and instead of pointing it at the rope he points it at the ground. Who the fuck died here? I stare at him with my confused face. As far as I know, nobody died. Is there a chalk outline? It turns out there's blood on the ground. It still looks decently fresh and close to black. Smells like copper. I'm not touching it. Ignore the pool of blood and either take the rope or take the elevator inside. 𝐀𝐦 and 𝐍𝐭 go for the elevator route. I get ready to climb up the rope when I hear liquid being moved. Hitoshi has his finger in the blood. It drips off slowly. That's disgusting. You don't know where that's been. It's been in someone's body and on the ground. Besides, I wanted a closer look. He holds his phone up to the blood. It glints red in the light. He wipes his finger off on the wall. Near the smear is a bloody handprint missing one finger. Hitoshi kicks a trash bag slumped by the wall. Blood leaks out of it. He steps over to me. I just found a dead body. I think we should get inside. I start climbing. I don't need the wall. I slip in through the window. Looking down, I can see Toshi is struggling. He's trying to do what I did. His foot clips the wall and he stands there for a few seconds before climbing. Once inside, he slumps onto the floor by the room door. Why is your entrance in a storage closet? So I can lock up the room without it affecting my day unless I'm out the house. I hear a knock on the front door and the click of a door opening and closing. Looks like 𝐀𝐦 answered the door. Be right back. 𝐀𝐦. I meet 𝐀𝐦 by the couch. There's another knock on the door. Are you gonna let them in? No, they can stand out there all night. I roll my eyes and go past him. There's one more knock along with a threat to kick open the door. I open the door for them. 10 push-ups for the rude and unnecessary threat. Does anyone want cookies? Cookies. I want cookies. I wouldn't mind cookies. I let the bird duo inside. I can smell the cookies. Considering how late it is, 𝐍𝐭 should be asleep. I'll have to check in my room. 𝐀𝐦, hurry up. The cookies are almost done. He turns his head slowly to look up at me and he has the meanest stink face ever. I hurry over to my other guests before he decides he no longer cares about the law. I dart into the kitchen and see 𝐀𝐦 patiently waiting for someone to come check on the cookies, probably 𝐀𝐦. The cookies look done and I'm not doing what I did last time and give them another minute. Cookies are done. I pull out the tray and immediately curse my existence. I didn't use a pot holder. I shove the tray onto the stovetop and stuff my hand under the cold sink water. 𝐀𝐦 comes in about a minute later with burned cream. I give a weak attempt at a smile. He turns off the sink and dries my hands for me. I can dry my own hands, you know. He doesn't respond and covers my fingers with the cream. It's extremely cold. He carries the cookies into the living room. I join my guests a few minutes later after wrapping my hands. Do you like the cookies? Dark Shadow shoves 3 into their mouth and gives me a big smile. Yum, there's a dead body in the alley. That isn't mine. Thanks 𝐀𝐦. Now I'm even more worried. I'm slightly worried. You found another teenager. And he has a knife. That's 𝐻𝐻𝐸. Eraser dropped him off with us for the night. Everyone is sleeping over. Great. That means I won't have to chase them down. Talia, they'll be respectful to their hosts. Each other is a different matter. Speaking of, 𝐻𝐻𝐸 was flicking 𝐀𝐦 in the ear. After a few more flicks he gets a large explosion to the face. Are you okay? The explosion didn't hurt that much. Good. I slap 𝐻𝐻𝐸 in the face. 𝐀𝐦, are you okay? He nods and stares at the wall. Our wall of color. This was their apartment. Huh, I know what he means. This was where we lived together. Now it's just me and two criminal street rats. Where Auntie, Deku, and 𝐀𝐦 lived. Right. It's a nice place. Yeah, maybe they're haunting the place. Are we summoning ghosts? 𝗵𝐻𝐽 can do it. I don't have my summoning equipment. Maybe next time. Dark Shadow sighs dramatically. Maybe attempting to talk to my dead family isn't a good idea. Not today anyway. Why don't we watch something? I've been meaning to research the recent sightings of 𝐬𝐬 𝐍𝐸 declares. Who the fuck is 𝐬𝐬? Well, she's apparently a spirit in the form of a moth leading others to the spirit realm. Several people have already spotted her in forests and meadows. I am either proving this thing correct or false. The spirit realm thing is only a theory 𝐷𝐻𝐻𝐿 came up with, I point out. The YouTube theorist. Isn't most of his work proven true? Although most people say he has spoilers or something like that, which is why he sticks to cryptids and rarely does any media. You are correct, 𝗵𝐻𝐽. Why do you need to research 𝐬𝐬? Do you work with 𝐷𝐻𝐿? Sort of. Can we turn the TV on now? I flipped to the horror section on YouTube. There were around 12 videos of sightings. One of the sighting areas was near us, a forest by the beach we frequent. I notice 𝐻𝐻𝐸 wrote down the locations. 𝐷𝐻𝐿 does partnerships with other theorist channels or enlists the help of 𝐀𝐦. Based on numerous factors, I can tell this isn't 𝐀𝐦, mostly because I haven't heard a single weird theory come out of him. Draw the Hawks and 𝗵𝐻𝐽 connection. Hey, moths are nocturnal, right? 𝐻𝐻𝐸 asks suddenly. Yeah, that's why most of the sightings are at night, I respond. I'll never find it unless Dad allows me to be out late. Maybe you can ask him to bring you over to us. We'll hang out and look for your mystery moth together. Okay, I have a theory it will only show itself to people who have lost someone. Great, then I'm the perfect helper. I've lost 2 people. I slap my hand over my mouth. Shouldn't have said that. Dark Shadow hugs me. We lost our father, Dark Shadow says sadly. I'm so sorry, are you okay? Yes, it's been a long time and we weren't particularly close, 𝗵𝐻𝐽 responds quietly. Looks like all of us have lost someone. What about you, 𝐻𝐻𝐸? He stays silent. Personal stuff is a no when you've just met. Don't be dumb like me. I have. And on that note, we end this conversation. Talia left about 5 minutes in and now he's back, smelling like bleach. Should I ask, why do you smell like bleach? I cleaned up the neighborhood. Also, the body wasn't exactly human. What? Its head was shaped differently and its entire brain was exposed and larger than its head. Weird. Hey, 𝐻𝐻𝐸, do you think 𝐷𝐻𝐿 would like to do a theory on that? Yeah, but it sounds pretty dangerous. How likely is death? Pretty fucking likely. Thanks, 𝐀𝐦, you're gonna scare him off. I'll do it after I find 𝐬𝐬. Nothing you guys say could scare me away from possibly deadly theories. Why don't any teenagers today have a will to live? Or is he just an adrenaline junkie? Who knows? Future plans. Have 𝐻𝐻𝐸 plus squad look for moth. Bother Eraser for info on Mystery Man and his location. Adopt 𝐻𝐻𝐸 into squad properly. And tag 𝗫𝐿's car. Did you just say tag 𝗫𝐿's car? You do realize that's illegal? Of course, I spoke out loud again. You do realize threatening to steal is illegal? Touche, bitch. So why are you tagging his car? Birthday gift to myself. Egg baby has to do something fun. Your egg. I've done a theory on you before. I thought you were young, but not this young. I thought you were 𝗫𝐿's eldest who died years ago and came back to fuck with him. Well, no, he's not, but 𝗫𝐿's eldest is helping him. That's enough family drama. This is fucking annoying. If you can figure out my real name, I'll give you whatever you want. I whisper to 𝐻𝐻𝐸 as I smile at him. 𝐻𝐻𝐸 now has 3 theories to work on. Also, I have a theory of my own. 𝐻𝐻𝐸 is 𝐷𝐿, which is why he said sort of to my question. He didn't say anything outright because he doesn't want his identity revealed online. I'd never reveal it, and I don't think the other 2 watch his channel. He starts guessing heroes, villains, and important people of society I could be related to, about a minute later, and that goes on for a while. When he said Hawks, I responded with I wish. It threw him off a bit. The dragon. Yes, okay. Wait, what? Seriously, you're related to the dragon? Yeah, good guessing. All you have to do is figure out his real name. I know his first name. How do I find out his last name? I could do a widespread search. He was born in Japan, right? He was. But he moved to America young, and then came back to Japan for a while, and then stayed in America for a long time. 𝐀𝐦 had fallen asleep at some point. Dark Shadow had passed out a little after with 𝗵𝐻𝐽 following close behind. I'm going to bed. You can do that too or figure my name out. The couch is free range. I'm going to my bed. You can sleep on my bed if you can fit. I wave bye with a wink and go into my room. 𝐬𝐸 is curled up on my pillows. I change into bed clothes and leave the hair cap on a hook as I start feeling sleepy. About a minute with my eyes shut and I feel the bed move. I open one eye and see Hitoshi curled up in the center. Cookie lays on his arm. I feel the corners of my mouth turn up as the purring starts. The clock says 4:36. I snuggle into my blankets and whisper one last good night before I pass out. During the next 3 weeks, Hitoshi visited 3 Saturday nights and stayed for random Sunday things, like a picnic. I pestered him with questions and he eventually relented and answered all of them, not missing a single chance to antagonize 𝐀𝐦 with those answers. Eraserhead gave me a whole notebook full of the info they found the night of the 7th. There are 3 different handwritings, none of which I recognize from pro hero signatures. Eraser wrote small margin notes to add a little more detail. Okay, to recap what Eraser's team has learned, I said loud enough to get my friends' attention. They all sat in a circle. The little girl we saw runs away from him frequently. Actually, Eraser ran into her twice on patrol. Her name is Eri. She is the man's daughter. Her description is as follows. Almost white hair, reddish-pink eyes, arms and legs covered in bandages, and she has a small horn on the right side of her head. Hitoshi puts his hand up. What's the man's name? I flip through a couple of pages until I find the note I'm looking for. His name is 𝐀𝐦 𝐍𝐨𝐭, also known as 𝐸𝐸. He is a villain. He works for the Yakuza scratch that runs the Yakuza after the disappearance of the old boss. So, what the hell is his quirk? I bet I could take him. I'm not denying that you could 𝐀𝐦. I just hope you guys don't directly fight him. His quirk is called 𝐸𝐸 and it lets him take things apart at the atomic level. He can also build things back together. How is it activated? Do I have to stare the bitch in the eye? Hitoshi, please don't insult him to his face. It's activated by touch. So he lays a finger on me and then I'm screwed. Sounds like a normal Tuesday for me. Eraser said to stay out of that area, right? Vigilantism is illegal, guys. 𝐓𝐸𝐬, we appreciate the sentiment, but the law no longer matters. Besides, we won't be fighting. We'll be rescuing a girl from hell. What do you mean? I get living with villains would be terrible, but it can't be that much of an abyss, right? To put it simply, they're torturing her. In a more detailed description, they're cutting her up and putting her back together to use her quirk for something. I don't know much about her quirk, except someone listed it as a healing one. It healed all her wounds super fast. That's all we have on her. We do have the names of some of the other members. Irrelevant. Just tell me their quirks so I can pummel them. Fine, one of their quirks makes you tell the truth. Since you guys are already mostly honest, you'll be fine. It's me who will be screwed. They're going to ask about my quirk and when they realize I don't have one, be disappointed. What have I told them? I have an analysis quirk. It's so easy to fake. Hey, don't zone out on me. We're nowhere near the area of the sighting, so you can't find her like this again. Right. What Hitoshi's referring to is last week when I zoned out I ran into a tree and fell. 𝐸𝐸𝐬 landed on my nose and I felt light for a few minutes. I noticed a camera light and about a minute later the light faded and I was heavy again. Yeah, so there was one shout out in his video. Thanks to 𝐸𝐸𝐬 I found proof for this video. Go give his channel some love. It was nice, but he didn't shout out Hitoshi, which just further proves him to be on the 9 lives. One of them, if their hair stabs you, you slow down. It depends on which hair stabs you for the amount of time, I think. I'm having trouble reading this. His quirk is called 𝐸𝐬 and he works directly for 𝐸𝐸𝐬. He's usually with him and Eri anyway. Are those the main bastards we have to worry about? Cause I could knife them all. Hitoshi, they have more members than that. There's the cannon fodder cannibal, who eats everything, a guy who draws items towards himself, a crystal fucker, and a dude who makes walls go wonderland. There's also an energy zapper and a force field guy. The last one listed is big and he doesn't have a listed quirk, although he is freakishly strong and throws quick punches. Also, quote, he really just wants to fight to the death, end quote. That sounds like my kind of fight. Let's fucking go. Hang on, we'll do things the legal way first. I'll beg Eraser to bring us with him. That way we can fight if necessary and we'll have pro heroes with us. If he doesn't agree, then we go the illegal route and destroy anything in our way. Sound good? That's fine, I need more training anyway. I'll fucking beat you into the ground if you want, pussy. 𝐀𝐦, no. Hitoshi, have you been practicing the stretches I had you do at home? Yeah, I've also been practicing some balance improvement using tutorials on YouTube. Good, we are almost ready. The final step in our plans is to ask Himiko and Taoya if they'll tag along. So how'd it go? He said yes as soon as I mentioned the traumatized little girl. He's also trying to get me to at least wear proper gear for the mission. Himiko was on board the moment I said I wanted them to help me with something. Just fucking text Hobohead. He can meet us in person with his final answer. 20 push-ups. Hitoshi, wipe that smirk off of your face. I sent the text. I told him we wanted in on the mission and that if he said no we'd do it anyway. Since it's still his patrol time he might not see it until later. It's the watching a fucking toddler's show at 15 for me. It's the superiority complex for me. That game, really? How immature will this get? It's the swearing to prove you're not soft for me. 𝐓𝐴𝐺 passes me an orange. I peel it with my teeth. It's the having a knife engraved with a cheesy line from a Taylor Swift song for me. How does 𝐻𝐡𝐢 know that? 1. He'd have to see the knife. 2. He'd have to know Taylor Swift's music to pick up on that. I signed to 𝐓𝐴𝐺. How do they know so much about each other? They're similar enough that they can read each other but different enough that they still bump heads. It's the getting a fake ID just to hold pets at a store for me. That's adorable. Usually, these roast challenges are only this good with best friends. Does this mean they're getting along? It's the smelling like girls no tears shampoo for me. That is the brand 𝐀𝐦 uses. His mom got him that when he was younger and he never stopped using it. He said it smells appealing. I find that funny because it smells like a strawberry banana smoothie. It's the screaming StarSet lyrics in the shower just to hear the acoustics because you're too pussy to break into a studio for me. Breaking into a studio is illegal. 𝐀𝐦 wouldn't even break into one, so why is he saying that? It's the having a crush on your best friend and singing about it at 2 for me. 𝐀𝐦's best friend is 𝐻𝐡𝐢, right? That's why they're doing this. They've become unnaturally close quickly, and that's why. Did he just call 𝐀𝐦 out on his crush on him? It's the watching Friends 10 times in a row because you can't cope with being alone for me. It's the lack of maternal affection and misplaced anger for me. 𝐀𝐦 doesn't get as angry anymore, but he has his days where even a pin dropping sets him off. It's like walking on a landmine field. As funny as this is, 𝐀𝐦, don't you think we should stop them? Yeah, you're probably right. Just let them get one more line out each. It's the pushing people away because you're scared to let someone in because they might hurt you and you couldn't handle that for me. It's the pushing the only person who cared about you until they died and you never got to say I love you for me. Guys, perhaps you should calm down. 𝐓𝐴𝐺 is ignored as 𝐀𝐦 tackles 𝐻𝐡𝐢 to the ground. They roll around trying to pin the other and land a hit. It's going nowhere. Who's dead? 𝐴𝐻𝐿 and I are technically dead to everyone, so which one of us? It could be either of us. We both fit the description. 𝐴𝐻𝐿 is actually pretty similar to 𝐻𝐡𝐢 in personality and voice pitch, so it'd make sense if he was the one 𝐻𝐡𝐢 was talking about. 𝐀𝐻𝐿 loved 𝐴𝐻𝐿 and now he's crushing on 𝐻𝐡𝐢. Yeah, that makes sense. They're getting more dangerous. I think the explosions are coming out. I rush in to pull them apart. It gets a little chaotic and I get hit away. It's silent for a minute, but then the noise grows really loud. There's a searing pain under my right eye. I think I landed on one of the broken chairs. I feel something cool touch my cheek. Open eyes. 𝐀𝐦 is standing a little off to the side. He's yelling maybe. Everything sounds mixed. Like 100 bees buzzing mixed with a recorder playing My Heart Will Go On by 𝐶ELINE DION. 𝐬𝐴𝐺 is sitting next to me and she's tapping at my face with a cool cloth. That's nice. Her mouth is moving but it's hard to hear. It takes a couple of minutes for the buzzing to stop. The first thing I hear is a shout and the door slamming shut. 𝐓𝐴𝐺 is the only one still here. How bad does it look? It's only a first-degree burn. You were fine with worse. Thanks, 𝐬𝐴𝐺. So what happened to the rest of my friends? They were kicked out because they got you hurt. 𝐓𝐴𝐺 is allowed to stay because he was trying to help you stop them. 𝐀𝐦 is still yelling at them in the hall. I can hear that. My eye isn't damaged, right? If you mean your contact, you're fine. I took it out for you. If you mean your vision, close your left eye. I cover my left eye. Everything is a little blurry and most shapes have no defining line. 𝐬𝐴𝐺 is the closest object and even she's a little fuzzy. Safe to say my vision is even more screwed. It's worse than normal. I'm gonna need a new prescription. I'll get you one. Dad sent more money to your bank account so you should be good. Also, Dad sent you a birthday card. It should be here soon. Nice. 𝐓𝐴𝐺, I think it'd be smart for you to go. 𝐴LIA is coming back soon and I don't want you caught up in his fury. Yeah, I'll see you later. Yeah, good night. Over the next week, I prepare for my birthday project. I've got everything ready. I'm not going to tag the car like a normal person. No Endeavor is going to tag his own car. I'm using a Rube Goldberg machine. As soon as he opens his car door, it'll start. When the ticking starts, I'll know the ball reached the pendulum. After that, the pendulum will swing into a domino chain and then go down a long, twisty path. Eventually, a large domino will smack into a ring of small dominoes, which will knock onto touchpads, which will launch the paint. The paint will cover the car and hopefully, Endeavor. I have the camera set up for the moment Endeavor walks out. Now, I know he has kids, but I made it so all of them are already out of the house. It's supposed to be Endeavor's monthly day off. When he walks outside, he'll see his car. I made sure to get him out by starting his car alarm. He's outside. He turned off the alarm and now he's coming to check. Things are going according to Keikaku. I click record and wait. The door opens and the masterpiece starts. As soon as he's finished checking the car for anything stolen, which takes about a minute, he shuts the door. He hears the ticking and looks around. I zoom the camera in on the dominoes reaching the end of their falling period and point the camera at the paint launchers. They have paint inside them. I point the camera at 𝗫𝐬𝐬 and his car and then the paint splatters onto them. 𝗫𝐬𝐬 lights on fire. The paint is highly flammable and permanent. The car lights on fire just from a misplaced ember. He's not going to be able to wash it off for a while. I post the video and flip over to Tumblr. I type out "look at this rainbow-colored bear in his natural habitat" and click post after attaching a link. Happy early birthday me. Tomorrow is the 15th, my birthday, and the day I finally make it to 15. I've heard many great things about it. I'm getting a call. Hello, who is this? Did you really have to do that? Egg, scratchy, and kind of water deprived. Sounds like, you see, dearest unkindness, I have to do everything. This beautiful masterpiece is a birthday gift to me. How are my dads doing? Did they finally get together? Just because I was shipped back to America for the month doesn't mean I know anything about their personal life. Sad. Kitty face filled with tears and murderous rage. You're a spy. You're good at knowing this stuff. They aren't together. They're uselessly pining like teenage idiots. Kind of like your friend group. If they both know they like each other, then they should just agree to a date. Take your own advice, kid. What do you mean? Oh, you're just oblivious. If I wasn't already cursed, I'd say curse my existence. You're so weird. We're going to storm a base soon. I think Eraser said in September because they could gather more people by then. Also, the group moved places, so they need to find the new base. Good luck, kid. We made something for you and it should be there soon. We also made something for your friends too. Thanks so much. I'm about to get a new little sister. I'll tell your dads they have another child on the way. It should be funny, especially their faces. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. As soon as I hang up, I'm hopping rooftops. I reach home in about 10 minutes. I live pretty close to the Todoroki place. Inside, on the coffee table is a box. It's large and has a note stapled on it. It's written in my dad's handwriting. Hey son, I've decided to help you with your upcoming raid. You said you're friends and you needed protection while fighting, so I had some of my employees make suits for the 4 of you. Based on the descriptions of your friends' personalities and interests you gave us, they modeled suits they thought would fit them. Since I know you're all mostly hand-to-hand fighters, I gave you extra padding so you didn't hurt your hands. I was unsure about shoe size, so I'll leave that up to you guys. These also work to disguise your identities so you don't need to worry about a wig and contacts. Also, to help with your vision problems, I sent a pair of turquoise zoom-in contacts that will improve your vision more. They automatically zoom in on small details, so you don't need to worry. And with that, I'm closing this by saying good luck on this mission and any future missions. Love, Dad. I pull off the note and stuff it into my pocket. The box takes a bit of work, considering it's taped shut. After opening the box, I'm presented with a small bag with 4 manuals inside. 1 for each suit. Right under the bag in another bag, but white in color. There are 3 more underneath it too. They're all labeled with a series of numbers. Each manual fits with a number series. The manuals detail the materials used and what dyes were chosen, along with how the suit is designed and its function. Suit 3425, 4545, 2378, and 9931. Suit 4545 comes with a cloak, so I guess that one's for 𝐓𝐴𝐬𝐬𝐿. The cloak is for dark shadow. I text the group chat we set up. Guys, come over to my apartment. Our costumes are here. Ever since we got our costumes, we've been training in them. Also, Hitoshi has been insulting 𝐀𝐦 any chance he has. Most of the time he retorts back. I tell them off and they silently glance at the floor. I think they're still nervous because they accidentally caused me to have worse vision and a minor burn scar. It does look kind of cool. 𝐀𝐦 refuses to let me go anywhere with both of them without him there, which is fine because he can help train them too. He has decently quick reflexes, so he's a good trainer. Hitoshi had many words to say about 𝐀𝐦 and Himiko training them, mostly because 𝐀𝐦 looks like he'd literally fall apart from a gust of wind. Are you sure he can teach us? He looks like he'd pass out if the wind blew too hard, or if it stopped blowing towards him, I remarked. Joking about my asthma is not funny. He's asthmatic and you want me to believe he helped train you. Eye bags, he can fight. If he goes for too long he'll fucking die, but 4 minutes is all he needs to kick your ass. Maybe in your experience. You're right, for you, he would probably win in 2. Are you guys fighting him in your suits? And are you fighting me too? I love cutting people up. Himiko, not this time. You can fight them with a weapon when they're used to hand and quirk fighting. You're no fun, Kumo. Training with them went pretty well. Hitoshi was pleasantly surprised 𝐀𝐦 could hold his own without his quirk. 𝐀𝐦 was pleasantly surprised that 𝐀𝐦 and Toshi's skulls weren't thick enough to not listen to instructions and not fight for 5 minutes. Himiko started them on knife skills in August. We were getting closer to the date the heroes chose. Apparently, some of their spies were found out and terminated. I apologized to Eraserhead for causing the death, but he said it was just a part of the job. Hitoshi was well suited to fighting someone with a knife. He is surprisingly skilled with one. I suppose he learned it on the street. He wasn't too great at dealing with someone coming at him with a knife. His immediate reaction was to let the knife stab his arm. 𝐀𝐦 wasn't any better. He immediately ducked and punched. 𝐬𝐻𝐦 dropped the knife and it landed on his shoulder. The knife was fake for practice and ended up sticking to his tank top. Our suits have several cool functions. We spent about 20 minutes messing around with them. You can't blame us, we're still kids. I wrote down all of their functions in my notebook. I nicknamed mine the bunny suit. 𝐀𝐻𝐦's is post-apocalyptic nuclear suit or pan suit. 𝐓𝐡𝐢's is aviator's goth. 𝐻𝐡𝐢's suit is midnight breakdown. Bunny suit, a black suit with evergreen lines going down from the neck, bending inward on the torso, pointing outward down the hip length, and curving into the thighs. The lines wrap around the legs heading down and crossing in the front above the knee and about 6 centimeters above the ankle. A belt, shoulder pads, knee pads, and elbow pads feature with the suit in a dark crimson color, and steel white knuckles feature on black gloves with green palms. A zipper features on the front of the torso. In between the green lining, the hood comes with antennae built underneath which make the head look like All Might. The outside inner ear has a leaf-like pattern in evergreen on black. A gas mask and goggles feature as well. The goggles are framed in dark crimson and the lenses are green and glow in the dark. The manual lists it as made of polycarbonate. Most of the suit is listed as made of Kevlar and cotton. The gas mask is evergreen with a crimson stripe down the center and the filters are black. It covers the bottom half of my face, which works well with my goggles. The belt functions as a utility belt and I plan on carrying first aid, a few knives, a pen, and my notebook. I also have a leather holster at home which I can use to carry another knife with me and easily slide out. I accidentally disabled the TV in our apartment with the antennae while practicing. They can also pick up radio waves and send a text from my phone without opening or looking at it. Aviator's goth, a padded, black jacket with garnet red lining where the right side connects to the chains. The first chain crosses over the left shoulder, the second crosses a few centimeters under the armpit, and the last crosses over the lower ribs. 4 pads, 2 elbow, and 2 knee, as well as 2 holsters, a side pack, and a shoulder guard are included. Goggles to fit his bird face as well. The pads are garnet with midnight purple centers. They are thick with 4 levels of padding in the center. The side pack and holsters are dyed purple and leather. They seem large enough to carry a weapon or first aid. The pack snaps shut with a magnet. The goggles are black frames with dark purple lenses. The gem in the center could be an actual garnet, but I think it's just plastic. Gloves are black with garnet padding and attached knuckles. The manual lists them as made of tungsten steel. The knuckles are spiked. A cloak comes with the suit. It's large enough to cover 3 adult humans. It's listed as Ultra 𝗲𝗲, up to 10 times as effective as 𝗲𝗲, with less flammability or explosiveness. It's about 14 layers of cloth. The goggles have infrared and night vision built in. There is also a built-in calculator and a scanner. Injuries and weak points can be detected with the scanner. The injury scanner works from about 30 meters away. Flexin, polycarbonate, leather, and Kevlar are listed in the materials section. Midnight breakdown, a dark gray bodysuit, stretchy for movement. The bodysuit covers the hands and feet, built-in wrist guards and padding. Overwear is black and the top glows midnight purple when the wearer's breathing becomes shallow or heartbeat unsteady. The top has a hood with purple designs that look like demon eyes, especially when paired with the visor and mask. The mask has a skeleton mouth design, and the teeth move to adjust the voice changer. It is black. The visor is tinted purple and alerts when danger is present and can be used as an X-ray. The bottom part of the overwear has several large pockets, hidden well to conceal extra items, and durable pockets from what I can tell. 𝐀𝐦 said he would provide 𝐻𝐡𝐢 with shoes that match his suit and are good for fighting. Pantsuit, a black top with 3 fire orange lines streaking the front. Spiky head details lined in orange as well, attached to the human's head, glow when heating the wearer, as does the top. Black bomber cargo pants with very large pockets and black gloves with orange palms and little holes covering them. Curved knee and elbow pads with spikes on them, along with a waist belt and a shoulder belt, the shoulder belt having about 20 containers attached. A gas mask and visor come together and looks like a skull when worn. The visor's lenses glow orange in the dark and when in use. The frames are black. The gas mask is dark gray with a black X over the mouth area. It uses oxidized carbon to work and 2 circular mouth things jutting out the sides. The things are also dark gray. The waist belt has 4 large containers shaped like grenades and a silver, magnetic clasp in the front. 𝐀𝐦 has boots with his costume and the boots are steel-toed with thick soles. They reach just under his knees and have glow-in-the-dark, orange laces. Now I get why people told me I write too much. This is the equivalent of like 2 chapters in a book about our costumes and their functions. I forgot to write down that 𝐀𝐦's skull eyes detect weak points in objects and people. Let me explain something real quick. My costume is a little skin tight. That's good for movement because loose clothing gets caught on everything. But wearing anything tighter than a potato sack would show off whatever curves a 15-year-old disaster. Born with a uterus, has. 𝐀𝐦 did not have a favorable reaction to it. In fact, he was very angry at Dad. He told me to call him so he could tell at him. Of course, as soon as Hitoshi started the chain of acknowledging my costume looks like a bunny, 𝐀𝐦 turned his anger on the three of them. Of course, 𝐀𝐦 tried to defend himself. Himiko said his eyes kept wandering to me, but 𝐀𝐦 must have noticed too because he kept getting madder. I'm sure 𝐀𝐦 kept looking at me to signal, help me out here, but I couldn't stop 𝐀𝐦's anger. Honestly, I'm more scared of what would happen if 𝐀𝐦 knew we all just changed in the same room. Likely murder. Crocheting the top 10 heroes is going well. I've already got All Might's legs done. He looks like he might jump out of my grip before he has arms or eyes. According to Eraserhead, it's only 2 weeks more until the raid. The second-year students just took their provisional hero license exams and will be going on work studies soon. According to him, some of the heroes involved might bring theirs. I wasn't sure entirely what this work-study thing is, but it seems you get to do real hero work, so that's something I'm excited for when I do finally get into the hero course. Now that you're all caught up to speed on things, I think it's time to get moving. This story is just getting interesting. Honestly, it was interesting a while ago. A warm wind blew through the crowd. The police spoke to a small group of the pros in the front. Silence settled like a drought around the rest of us. Today was the raid, and here we are nervously waiting to get started. Eraserhead has officially glanced at us 9 times since his conversation with the police started. The other pros here sometimes looked at us too. I think a few were whispering questions to each other. The meeting last week had informed everyone here that there was no stopping us from joining this. Some had audible complaints, mainly they're too young and they have no training. I had to stifle a giggle, but 𝐀𝐦 broke down into the loudest and most mocking laughter he could manage. I had to pinch him to knock it off. Eraserhead responded, "They have more training than a good portion of my current second-year students." I think Rocklock is justified in his worry because I heard another pro talking about him having a baby soon. His paternal instinct kicked in. At the same time though, as someone who understands wanting to protect kids, he has to understand we can't sit this one out. "Are you ready?" Sounded like present Mike, but he shouldn't be here. Eraserhead looks just as confused. I catch 𝐀𝐦 smacking Hitoshi. His voice changer, right. "Toshi, don't use it until the fight starts. I thought it would be funny," he explains in his real voice. "Hey, guys, you can't use our real names here. Do you have code names?" Fat Gum is asking us. Do not spaz, do not spaz, do not spaz. I repeat this mantra in my head. Egg, my code name is Egg. Are you that Egg or just borrowing the name? I do believe my fame is strong among these people. I glance over at, objectively, the smartest guy here, 𝗀𝗍𝗍. He worked with All Might for years. He, of course, is staring at me. Yeah, I'm that Egg. I mean, what other Egg is there? The orange bastard is Warhead and the goth is. Toshi is cut off by a loud boom and static noises from his mask. You can't pick a name for me. Well, all your ideas were too long. And I think it's funny. Aren't warheads a kind of sour western candy and also an explosive? You smell like candy. The masses know it is non-threatening, mostly, and it's a reference to your little boom booms. 𝐀𝐦 grumbled for a bit before accepting the name. This asshat is Siren, and not spelled how you think. How is it spelled? P-S-Y-R-E-N, Siren. I like it, thanks bitch. A very loud ahem cuts them off. Since I asked them to, 𝐀𝐦 and Himiko are here. Himiko is already inside because she's a backup and a stealth warrior. She's infiltrating. 𝐀𝐦 is out here with us, and if he catches these two fighting, he'll likely attempt to kill them. What about you? What's your code name? I remember 𝐓𝐸𝐸𝐾𝐦 had a list of ones he was thinking of, some of them edgy as hell according to 𝐀𝐦. Don't listen to that though, he thought they were cool. �NIGHTSHADE definitely received the most positive reaction during our brainstorm breakdown last week. Good choice, 𝐓𝐸𝐸𝐸, I whispered loudly. Over with the police officers. It seems they were reading out the warrant they brought with them. I could feel the shaking before the wall broke and a big guy came through. Ryukyu, she's a dragon, immediately took control and told everyone else to go on ahead. We rushed through the wide-open door. Eraserhead told us to stick by him. I caught Toshi giving 𝐀𝐦 a side eye. Dark Shadow held their cloak in their hands, folded and close to their chest. After this moment things sped up. We had no time to think. I barely remember what happened. The hall started becoming shaped weirdly. Someone said Iranaka. Must be the name of one of the members. I ran into one of the wall pieces before getting dragged around it. Someone shouted left and I instinctively went that way. Big mistake because that hit me in the face. Apparently, they meant coming from the left. At some point, we got stuck at a wall and Tagata-senpai said he'd go ahead. Lemillion is his hero name in case anyone forgot. Although, you've been reading this for hours, haven't you? 𝐀𝐦 immediately started blasting it. Thankfully, he got through quickly. There were more walls in our way. I could feel 𝐀𝐦's anger even though I was in the back. I had a brilliant idea then. Everyone move out of the way. Dark Shadow is coming through. 𝐀𝐦 immediately raced to the back, behind me. The remaining pros dispersed after Eraserhead and 𝗀𝗍𝗍 encouraged them. Dark Shadow wrapped themselves in their cloak and I could hear the struggle 𝐓𝐲𝐬 was putting up to contain them. Dark Shadow tended to go crazy in darkness. Was this a smart plan? Absolutely not. Was it effective? It was the most effective one we had. We got through pretty quickly. It seemed 𝐬𝐻𝐬 had already dealt with 2 of the guys. There she was, 𝐬𝐻𝐬. I had to assume the one holding her is 𝐀𝐦. I believe that's 𝐬𝐻𝐬's right hand. 𝐾𝐻𝐬 caught up to the fight quickly. I realized only now that 𝐸𝐻𝐬 wasn't there with us, at least in this area. 𝐻𝐸 and Toshi had stayed back to deal with 3 of the members. I hoped they were okay. I ran as fast as I could to catch up to the fight. Something was happening to 𝐬𝐻𝐬. I think he was breaking out in hives. As someone with a peanut allergy, I can relate. But what the hell is he allergic to? I realized he might have given himself hives because 𝗬𝗏 touched him. The quirk-induced placebo effect. Everyone. 𝐸𝐻𝐬 was knocked from 𝗀𝐻𝐽's arms and fell into 𝗬𝗏's. I felt the heat of 𝐾𝐻𝐬's explosions as 𝐸𝐻𝐬 was given to me. I watched as 𝐬𝐻𝐬 reached out to grab 𝐾𝐻𝐬 to turn him into a blood splatter. Don't hurt them, 𝐸𝐻𝐬 screamed in my arms. 𝐾𝐻𝐬 twisted out of his reach and fired 3 quick blows, hitting 𝐬𝐻𝐬's hand, his chest, and his face. His howling in pain caused 𝐸𝐻𝐬 to grip onto me tighter. I don't know what he was saying because there was so much noise going on. But I caught sick and I have heard that a few too many times. I made a mistake then. I said something I probably shouldn't say, especially to the enemy. Maybe I should have listened better. Joke's on you. I'm used to being called sick because I don't have a quirk. He stopped speaking. He looked right at me. 𝐸𝐻𝐬 was blocked behind a wall of spikes. I think 𝗬𝗏 got impaled. I looked around for Eraserhead, but he wasn't in sight. If you're quirkless, why do you still help them? I want to make it so the entire world is back to quirkless. To make it fair for everyone. So why do you help them? Why not help me? Because I have a moral compass and don't believe in child abuse. That's the same reason I'm against Endeavor, you ass. I should not have said that. I still firmly stand by what I said, but that was not the right company to reveal that to. Also, 𝐾𝐻𝐬 got through at a lovely moment because he got to explode 𝐬𝐻𝐬's face. Damn it, you idiot. Don't go spilling private secrets like that to villains. They could use that kind of shit. Sorry, wasn't thinking. I backed away from the fight, 𝐸𝐻𝐬 still clinging to me. 𝐬𝐻𝐬 turned one of his men into blood and then fused with him. It was horrifying to witness. He started calling for 𝐸𝐻𝐬. Ignore him. He doesn't get a say. I won't let him hurt you anymore. Do you really think in the underdeveloped state he's in now, he could do anything to help you? He's weaker than most of society. He's why we're doing this, to make a fairer playing field. Do you really think he can protect you? I wanted to punch 𝐬𝐻𝐬 in the mouth right then and there. No, 𝐸𝐻𝐬. Then you know what you should do, right 𝐸𝐻𝐬? No, come back to me. No, he's not the one fighting. He doesn't have to be strong. Pay attention to me, dickwad. Only cowards hurt little kids with no way to defend their damn selves. 𝐾𝐻𝐬 punched 𝐬𝐻𝐬 right between his eyes. I noticed a gun by the wall. That's what they've been working on, right? I crept over there and faked like I was hurt. I leaned heavily against the wall and sunk to the ground. Are you okay? 𝐸𝐻𝐬's quiet and high-pitched voice was full of worry. I'm fine, don't worry about me. Truth be told, I wasn't in any pain, besides the chronic headache, but there's no avoiding that. I grabbed the gun. There was still a bullet inside of it. The bullet wasn't really a bullet. It was a little glass container with a needle on one end, filled with blood. 𝐸𝐻𝐬's blood. The little voice in my head reminded me. Let me tell you I have terrible aim. I instructed 𝐸𝐻𝐬 to go stay with 𝐓𝐲𝐬𝐻𝐬, the one with the cloak. He would keep her safe. She nodded and scurried away. Thankfully, 𝐬𝐻𝐬 wasn't paying much attention to me and was focused on 𝐾𝐻𝐬 and 𝗬𝗏. Sir 𝗍𝗏 as well. 𝗍𝗏 had gotten hit by some stray spike and was bleeding out of his side. But he seemed to be okay. I only now realized 𝗬𝗏 wasn't using his quirk. 𝐸𝐻𝐬, they won't last long. You know that. Oi, shut the fuck up. Warhead, that is highly unprofessional, 𝗍𝗏 scolded. I think he's funny. I didn't ask for your opinion, lemillion, 𝐾𝐻𝐬 shouted back. I could tell 𝐓𝐲𝐬 was reassuring 𝐸𝐻𝐬. I just had no idea what he was saying. I never asked him. I will definitely regret that. You have no idea the amount of regret that can be contained in such a small body. Nightshade, get her out of here. 𝗍𝗏 shouted. 𝐬𝐻𝐬 turned his attention to 𝐓𝐲𝐬𝐬. I took this moment to aim. I had no idea what kind of effect it would have on him, but they wanted to get rid of quirks, so I fired. It hit him right where his heart would be. I could see 𝐬𝐻𝐬 frozen, like a perfectly timed candid. Then he and the other guy split apart. There was screeching, horrified screaming. Then there was silence. What the fuck just happened? Warhead, 𝗍𝗏 warned. I think his quirk stopped. 𝐾𝐻𝐬 stared at me incredulously. He looked around for Eraserhead, but he was nowhere to be seen. I held up the gun and he started shaking his head. Way to go, egg. That's what he used on me earlier. This thing erases quirks, and 𝗬𝗏 was hit. This is why he's been fighting without it. Is it permanent? Let's see. 𝗬𝗏 disappeared into the ground and then popped up next to 𝐬𝐻𝐬. He landed an uppercut to his jaw, which sent him sprawling. After that, everyone was led back up to the surface. Who knew we were underground? I don't remember going downstairs. They brought special anti-quirk cuffs for this, though I have no idea how long the effect of the bullet lasts. He at least wouldn't be able to do anything if it came back soon. We were all driven to the hospital just in case, though I was persistent with how fine I was and that I didn't need to stay there. As soon as the drive was steady enough, I passed out and felt all of the effects. I later learned I had a broken rib. Even if the cloth in my skin weren't pierced, blunt damage can still hurt like a bitch. I found out from Himiko that she took out 𝐬𝐸, and she and 𝐀𝐦 saved Eraserhead from 𝐀𝐦. Itoshi was close to passing out from a migraine straight from hell, which means he used his quirk a lot. 𝐲𝐬 had gone off and dealt with some big guy with 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬. Apparently, he broke his arm and cracked his skull. Not to mention both he and 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬 had broken ribs. 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬 was taking most of the hits. There was another guy down there, and 𝐲𝐬 fought him, although the big guy, 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗟, wanted to fight both of them. They're both okay though. Yuri was terrified of basically anyone who wasn't with her in that battle, meaning me, 𝗬𝗲𝗧, Fumi, 𝐾𝐭 surprisingly, and 𝗧𝗏𝗍. Eraserhead came by her hospital room and she started crying. Yuri isn't physically hurt. She has no scars under the bandages. Also, she disintegrated one of the nurses and tried to hide under a table so no one hurt her. She explained it was her quirk and she couldn't stop it. Yuri, we promise no one is going to hurt you. You know how your quirk works. That may help us. She shook her head. She then grabbed her head in both hands. My head hurts when it happens and my horn glows. Okay, are you thinking anything in particular or feeling specific things? I feel scared. And I thought about how I wanted the nurse to leave. Okay, thank you, Yuri. I promise we will figure out how to help you control your quirk. Does that sound nice? Yeah, thank you. We found out from Overhaul's notes that her power is to rewind. He was rewinding the quirk gene back to the normal gene, although he only got a temporary version done. I'm glad actually. As much as I hate being quirkless, I would never want anyone to lose their quirk. It isn't anyone else's fault I don't have one. We realized Yuri doesn't have any guardians. No one could find her mom, her quirk manifested, and rewound her dad, and her grandfather is in a coma. She has no family. I suggested subtly to Eraserhead that she could join our family. Note, Egg actually wasn't all that subtle. He basically begged Eraserhead to let her stay with us. It didn't work because what if her quirk went haywire? I convinced him when I reminded him that she trusts me and I have 2 other individuals living with me and willing to raise a child. Himiko loves children and 𝐲𝐬 might never admit it, but he does love taking care of people. Eraserhead finally gave in, but with a few conditions. 1. I have to call immediately if her quirk goes out of control. 2. I have to update him twice a week about her condition. 3. I have to take better care of myself. I agreed I could follow all of those rules. Fumicage's friend visited, the one who had a concert. Her name is 𝐍𝐸. 𝐾𝐭 lovingly referred to her as earbuds. She has cords hanging from her ears like earbud headphones. That's her quirk. 𝐾𝐻 has purple hair, which I think is really cool and is totally punk rock. I asked her for a list of singers or songs she really likes. Her music taste is great too. So, 𝐾𝐻-san, are you aiming to be a hero too? Yeah, she admitted sheepishly. I've always wanted to, but I'm a little nervous. It's okay to be nervous. I'm nervous all of the time. You have anxiety, Egg. Are we bringing back Shakespeare? No, you misunderstand. Egg is my hero name. It wasn't meant as an insult. I was mildly surprised my fame hadn't reached her, but I guess she wasn't into the hero scene like that, especially since I hadn't hit any heroes I thought fit her vibe. Does she like Present Mike's radio? Toshi, I whisper screamed, can you get me on Put Your Hands Up radio? I refuse. I'm not asking him. I thought he was your preferred parent. So, I'm not asking them for anything. I'm just a charity case to them, even though it's for me. One of your best friends, even though it's for one of my only friends. Hey, I just realized both 𝐾𝐻 and Toshi have purple hair. That they do, dark shadow. I believe it's a genetic factor to be alternative. That's stupid. It's not genetic, it's environmental. Thanks, 𝐾𝐭. Now you're telling me the way I was raised made me like every kind of music. Sounds like you were raised to please people and keep quiet any complaint you had, Toshi surmises. To be honest, you gave off the vibe of I listened to Dodie Clark, but also Eminem in the same sitting. I do, in fact, listen to both of those artists. I also listen to the Beatles. Somehow that made most of them laugh. Laughter is contagious. You've heard that phrase before, right? Pretty soon we were all dying of laughter. Luckily it was a time in which the hospital's pain meds had kicked in, so I didn't feel the rib pain. Yuri is going to be in the hospital for a while, just so they can be sure she's okay. She'll probably be out before Christmas though. I'm literally too excited to sit still. I told Dad Yuri would be coming soon and he said he would visit us then. Also, he's sending some things for the 5 of us. I spent 2 hours trying to figure out 5 people and decided the 4th is Yuri because that's who we were talking about. I didn't figure out the 5th. At least, not until the things arrived. 𝐀𝐦 was sent a matchbox. Now I know what you're thinking. Can't he just light a fire with his quirk? You're absolutely correct, but that's not why he's getting a matchbox. It's the outside design of it, and the inside can hold a photo of someone. I could probably guess whose photo, but it's a personal thing. 𝐬𝐻𝐦 got a very beautiful knife. The handle is decorated with little blood red stones and a swan wrapping around it. It's called a hilt, right? I think so. She nicknamed it her little slasher baby. I think it's mostly decorative, but it probably looks that way to fool people. Or I'm just overthinking it again. I got a notebook. Its cover has little squishy orbs in it that I can press and move around. It's red, purple, pink, orange, and yellow gold. See, the sunset. It's just small enough to fit in a large pocket so I can carry it with me almost everywhere. The gift for 𝐸𝐸, I was right, is a set of mix and match animal plushies. You can take them apart and build them back together in any way. They're not just any animals though, most have odd colors. There's a green and red bunny, a black and orange wolf, a purple and gray bat, a black bird with red eyes, a purplish raccoon with blue eyes, a yellow gold cat with gold eyes, and a red and gold sunfish. The plushies are clearly meant to represent us. I'm not sure if 𝐸𝐸 would like the bird one, but she seemed to get along with 𝐵𝑚𝑒 just fine. I love the implications of 𝐀𝐦 being a wolf. The last gift was for 𝐬𝐡𝐻𝐸 𝐻𝐾𝐦 himself. Thankfully, they arrived on a Sunday. I got to bother 𝐀𝐦 about the present Dad sent. Let me share something awesome about 𝐀𝐦. He loves camping, he loves to cook, he loves winning, and he wears flannel and t-shirts almost exclusively. So if you could find a way to combine all of those, or even just 2 of these, you'd probably win his heart. At the very least, you'd win his respect. Anyway, 𝐀𝐦 grinning like a 4-year-old is one of the most amazing sights. I got to witness such pleasure when he opened a set of camping equipment. It was just the things he didn't have or needed to be replaced. 𝐀𝐦 had ripped his old sleeping bag, so this new one was definitely like winning the lottery. I know almost nothing about it, but apparently it's pretty durable and soft on the inside. It holds in heat better than his old one. Also, he got new cooking pots. They're smaller than regular kitchen ones and made of a certain material, one which I do not know. I could look it up, but no thanks. His sleeping bag has a flannel design, which is plaid for those who don't know. It's fire resistant. Not fireproof, those are different. I think 𝐀𝐦 still has those pot holders he made, although he doesn't need them because I've seen him take a tray of baked cookies out and not get burned. He has thick calluses from his quirk. I had to take a picture of his excitement. I don't see it a lot. I didn't even see him like that unless he won something major, the highest grade in the class. He took down a villain before a pro could, and he realized how strong his quirk is at 4. I wish that excitement was shown more often. We gave 𝐸𝐸 her plushies after getting permission from the nurses. 6 plushies seemed a bit too much to have, so she only got to sleep with 2 for now. You can have all of them when you're out of here. The nurse says too many would get in the way of her job. Which ones do you want right now? I want the bunny and, the bird. You can have them. These plushies can do something special, 𝐸𝐸. What? I took off the wolf's head and placed it on the rabbit. I switched the legs of the cat and raccoon. Are they okay? Of course. She sounded so worried. You can switch them back easily. See, can I have the fish too? Absolutely, 3 is okay. I think the fish looks like 𝐸𝐸. What do you think? 𝐸𝐸 thought for a moment quietly. She nodded and hugged the sunfish tight. She then squeezed the bird and bunny as well. 𝐸𝐸, she pointed to the fish, egg, she pointed to the bunny, and 𝐁𝐦. That's what they called him. You can call him 𝐵𝑚𝑒, like me. It might be easier to say. 𝐵𝑚𝑒 likes apples like me. Do you like apples? Yeah, it's one of the few fruits I don't look at and think, why do you exist? 𝐸𝐸 started humming something I recognized vaguely as a cartoon's theme song. I know she hasn't smiled since I've met her, but I'm gonna try my hardest to help her smile. The tune sounded happy at least. I couldn't help but smile. The rain from last night dried slowly in the morning sun. It was almost ethereal or reminiscent of a Renaissance painting. The replacement car sat parked in front of the house. I stood in front of the door. Is this really necessary? I could just ask him to hang out on Discord. You see, Toshi-kun, I want indisputable proof this is him, so I need to speak with him in person. You understand, right? 9 lives. I could tell Toshi was rolling his eyes behind me. At this point, he should be used to my dramatic behavior. Besides, there are a few people I think he'd like to meet. Those few people are 𝐀𝐦 and 𝐀𝐦. He doesn't even hide his identity at this point, and who doesn't want to meet Hawks? Are you gonna knock? Yeah, of course. I wait and stare at the door. Honestly, I haven't been over here since the Rube Goldberg paint disaster. I was a little bit worried about getting hit with flames. I think 𝐸𝐸 is at work in Tokyo, but still. Toshi-kun knocks for me. I give him a side eye before the door opens. There's a tall male with mostly white hair and 𝐸𝐸r's build behind it. You must be Natsuo-kun. We're here for your younger brother. He blinks in surprise. I didn't know Shoto had friends. He hasn't met me yet, but we know each other. Before you say anything else, this isn't a kidnapping. I know him because we're friends on Discord and collab on YouTube. He has. What all have you done to 𝗓𝗏? Toshi-kun, I've done a lot. This is Alma 9 Lives and I am depressed egg baby. I believe your brother is 𝐀𝐦. May we kidnap him now? 𝗏𝗡 walks back into the house. I can hear him call for 𝐫𝐸 before he reopens the door. Toshi is glaring at me for asking to kidnap him, I'm sure. I hum one of my favorite American songs while we wait. The song is called Rainbow Veins by Owl City. I just like the surrealist vibes it gives off. I hear footsteps approaching inside. 𝗏𝗡, who would even be here for me? Your YouTube friend and egg. There's silence before 𝗏𝗡 is pushed out of the way and the door is opened all the way. Hey, the taller boy in front of us raises his hand a little to wave. His hair shines in the sunlight. He looks like a soaked cat, like he's just gotten out of the shower. He has on a turtleneck and thin sweatpants. Over his left eye is a scar. Hello, Todoroki, call me 𝐫𝐸. He cuts me off. Hello 𝐫𝐸, we're here to kidnap you for the day. I have a few people I think you want to meet and one more I think would like to meet you. You have a few things in common. 𝐫𝐸 is silent for a moment before grabbing his shoes and following us outside. He pulls them on before speaking again. So, your egg. How could you tell? My dearest friend here hasn't spoken yet. Yeah, but I speak in our chat all the time. He knows my voice is deep. 𝐫𝐸 nods to confirm Toshi's statement. Cool, let's go now. We have to meet up with them at the campgrounds. Have you ever gone camping before? Probably not. 𝗓𝗏 isn't exactly an A+ parent. When 𝐀𝐦 confirms his attendance, I'll explain what we're doing, besides going to a campsite. I don't think you'll be sleeping here considering several of us will have school tomorrow. You talk a lot. I wasn't even done. I suppose 𝐫𝐸 isn't used to a lot of speaking considering how 𝐀𝐦 described things. Or maybe because he was isolated, he's specifically not used to the noise. I try not to talk as much in public, but I can trust you too. 𝐀𝐦 is gonna flip when he realizes I'm bringing you. 𝐀𝐦. Are you ready to see a ghost? 𝐫𝐸's eyes widened when I mentioned his name. Figures. He nodded, though I don't think he knew what I meant. Toshi signed something and 𝐫𝐸 stared at him. I have no idea what that means. You don't know sign yet. We have everyone to teach you then. The rest of the walk was filled with me rambling about the guests we were gonna have with us. I never introduced myself properly, I know, but he'll pick it up eventually. We arrived there while our bird friends were setting up. 𝐀𝐦 could have said that yeah, he's coming, but whatever. Himiko had Eri in her arms and they were spinning. 𝐀𝐦 and 𝐾𝐦 were arguing. They both like arguing, so Kayoko was invited too, and she was the only one to look up when we arrived. She waved from her spot by the fireplace. 𝐫𝐸 looked around confused. Kumo, Hito, you're back. Himiko tackled me in a hug. Eri ran up and hugged my legs. Yeah, we just had to pick up one more person. 𝐀𝐦 had started getting louder and I could tell 𝐾𝐦 just turned off his aids. I dragged 𝐫𝐸 over to them. 𝐾𝐦, this is 𝐫𝐸. As you know, I keep tormenting his dad. 𝐾𝐦 glares at me, then at 𝐫𝐸. 𝐫𝐸 doesn't respond. Instead, he's looking at 𝐀𝐦. Brotherly bonding time. Hey 𝐫𝐸, been a while huh? I'll leave you guys to catch up. It's been 9 years. Almost 10. I wander my way over to 𝐀𝐦. It's still kind of weird to be on a first-name basis with a hero, but he's only like 8 years older than us. I'm glad I ran into him that night. Honestly, I wouldn't change anything from this last year. All the best parts and even the less desirable ones. Call me weird, but I think fate is real, and it was fate we met each other. Fate starts with flames, I think. 𝐫𝐸 and 𝐀𝐦 seem to be having a very awkward conversation. I guess that happens when you haven't spoken to someone in over a decade. I'm not even sure they got to bond when he was a baby. 𝐾𝐦 and Toshi were back at it with trading insults. But at least they looked less murderous. That would probably escalate soon. I'll let it be. Hey, Eri, I think you should put my head on 𝐾𝐦's body. Eri's plushies, which she adores, are the kind you can replace the body parts of. They have magnets in them and not a day goes by where some poor body doesn't end up with 5 heads attached. It looks like some kind of monster in the abyss. She thinks they're cute. This camping trip is mostly for the s'mores. I was hoping to ask 𝐫𝐸 to provide the fire because 𝐀𝐦 hurts him. I don't need 𝐀𝐦 in more pain. Also, I still have trouble around the fire because of what happened to my family. I imagine 𝐫𝐸 has trouble with his because of 𝗓𝗏, so ulterior motive to help him. Hey, 𝐫𝐸, I want you to meet Eri. 𝐫𝐸 comes over and crouches down to Eri's height. She doesn't have the bandages wrapped around her arms and legs anymore. She's been smiling recently. Her hair is in a braid, courtesy of 𝐾𝐦. Hi, Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze, my name is 𝐫𝐸. You use ice? 𝐀𝐦 said so. Yeah, I do. Eri, 𝐫𝐸 is here to help you with roasting marshmallows and controlling your quirk. Like Toshi is helping. Yeah, 𝐫𝐸 understands the hurt that comes along with your situation, so he understands how hard it is to control something you have grown to be scared. May I speak with you alone? 𝐫𝐸 grabs my shoulder and leans in close to whisper to me. Sure, I'll be right back, Eri. We walk over to a tree that has a second one wrapping around it. What do you want to talk about? I never agreed to help her with quirk control, but that's not it. How do you even know so much about my situation? I have 𝐬𝐬, and I understand the pain of fire. The emotional pain, I mean. I lost my own family to a fire. I'm sort of working through it. Why do you want me to help with marshmallows, whatever that means? I want you to help roast them to show you fire can be good and used to help others. I kind of figured you needed it. You don't seem too well acquainted with it if I had to guess. I swore I would never use it in battle. I don't want to be like him. I get that. 𝐬𝐴𝑚𝑜𝑟s aren't a battle though, and neither is cozy cuddling with your friends. What do you say? Okay, I guess it's alright for 𝐬𝐴𝑚𝑜𝑟s. We go back over to the main group and 𝐀𝐦 and 𝐍𝐸 were wrestling on the ground. Not in the if you even breathe again I'll obliterate your soul way, but like my brother is the only one here I like enough to punch in the face way. If that makes any sense to anyone. They're enjoying themselves. Do not worry. I'm not worried, 𝐓𝐿. I was speaking to 𝐷𝗀𝗀. You tend to not worry when you get stabbed or tear open your stitches from said stab. I look over at 𝐷𝗀𝗀. He seems to be transfixed by the fight. He has a lack of emotional expression, which I imagine is hard for most people to read, but I'm used to 𝐀𝐦 and 𝐻𝐡𝐢𝐬. He looks curious to me. They're fighting but they don't seem mad at each other. That's cause they're tight-knit like your turtleneck. They're woven pieces of fabric. Not quite. 𝐷𝗀𝐢 and 𝐀𝐦 fight all the time. It's what has been bringing them closer. As long as 𝐷𝗀𝐢 doesn't make him punch himself in the face, everyone's chill with it. 𝐷𝗀𝗀 nods and continues watching the fight. I think he's thinking about his training. The one from 𝗓𝗏𝗏 he's had for almost 10 years. 𝐀𝐦 has 𝐷𝗀𝗢 pinned to the ground. I win. 𝐷𝗀𝗢 grins and smacks his head into 𝐀𝐦's and he lets go to grab his head. 𝐷𝗀𝗢 rolls 𝐀𝐦 onto his back and sits on his stomach. I think why 𝐷𝗀𝗢 cuts off as he's thrown off onto the grass. The two of them divulge into giggling. Why are they laughing? They were just fighting. They're friendly fighters, 𝐷𝗀𝗀. A fight doesn't always mean you're mad at each other. Sometimes you both need to laugh at the stupid insults or weak punches you threw at each other. He looks at me, that's mostly just staring, but I can tell he's confused. I guess he doesn't really get play fighting. Aren't you supposed to go all out in a fight? Wouldn't that mean using your fire? Touché. But I mean, how can punches be too weak? Aren't you supposed to hurt someone in a fight? Not when you're just messing around. They pull their punches when playing. Well, 𝐀𝐦 does anyway. 𝐷𝗀𝗢 doesn't have to. Hey, I've gotten stronger. Still too weak to do anything, I backs. 𝐷𝗀𝗀 stares at 𝐀𝐦 for a moment, completely unwavering. I suppose 𝐀𝐦's goals are sort of similar to 𝗓𝗏𝗏r's. Please don't ask him. Oi, peppermint. Ever taught it's rude to stare? He continues to stare. Alright then. I'm Katsuki Bakugo and you piss me off. If I see you at you, I'll kill you. How very 𝐀𝐦, especially old 𝐀𝐦. It's always refreshing to know he hasn't changed much. You are becoming a hero, right? Cat's threat only stands if you go to Yua, you know. I have to. But do you want to? He thought for a moment. I guess no one ever asked what he wanted. 𝗓𝗏𝗏 had several crimes to pay for and hurting this beautiful baby boy was the first. I would let 𝐬𝐬𝗀 set him on fire, to be honest. I want to be a hero, but not like 𝗓𝗏𝗏r. I am not sure if I want to go to UA. I mean, you don't have to, but the rest of our Eraserhead even offered to recommend us if we wanted to. I'm the only one taking him up on his offer because I don't have a naturally suited quirk to fight robots or the strength to bust through one with a screwdriver. 𝐷𝗀𝗢, I'm not using a screwdriver. I said I would use pliers for the exam. My father has already recommended me for it. We're only a little over 2 months until the exam. You can always not go to the recommended and just come to the normal exam. That way there's a chance we're all in the same class. I was told only 2 boys and 2 girls are chosen, so I'll think about it. I'll consider it a success. I'm slowly breaking him away from his father. Now maybe if I could convince Eraserhead to house him during the school year, it would be better for him to be on campus to absorb all of you at teaching better. I don't know. Christmas is coming up. I will buy you guys presents. I just need your PO box number and address. I don't normally get packages, so I don't know. Hold on. I write my number on his arm. Just text me when you figure it out. Keigo leans on 𝐬𝐬𝗀 and 𝐷𝗀𝗀, who are perfectly spaced to allow him in between them. I'll consider the stained glass art from earlier this year as a gift. Yeah, you can have it. I'll send it to your agency. Unless someone says no, I will find your PO box myself and you will get a present. Don't want one. I know your address. It's too late. My birthday is the 21st. When's Christmas? You're turning 6, right? Christmas is actually only a few days after. Oh, can I pick out a present for Lemillion? Sure, I'll even ask Eraser to give it to him for you. We settle PO box issues and arrange for the fire pit to be lit. 𝐀𝐦 says we don't have enough firewood and stalks off to get more. I think it's because he doesn't like 𝐷𝗀𝗀's staring. Speaking of him, he doesn't know what to do with the mallows, so he just stares at those two. I'm starting to think his default reaction is to stare intensely for a long time. Mine is to cry. Eri agrees with me about crying. Also, I'm teaching her to read with the help of my notebooks and she's basically my proofreader. She also reminds me of things I forget to write down or wasn't here to hear. With ample firewood and 𝐬𝐻𝐻 lighting the pit, we could finally start s'mores. 𝐬𝐻𝐻 had to remember that his fire wouldn't go away until he turned it off. 𝐾𝐦 grabbed the 2 largest marshmallows and made direct eye contact with Toshi while he implanted them. Toshi responded by grabbing a small one and impaling it lopsided. This mallow looks like cat. He's trying to piss him off. It's a regular occurrence. Also, his nickname makes him sound like an actual cat. 𝐀𝐦 and I agree on what the best chocolate is. It's dark. There's less milk and more caffeine. It boosts serotonin and doesn't trigger lactose intolerance as much as every other chocolate would. 𝐬𝐻𝐻 looks at chocolate like he looks at 𝐾𝐦 like it's a foreign object that feels too familiar. I asked for his allergies and just gluten. Graham crackers are made with gluten. Okay, screaming internally isn't helping anyone. We decided he'd have 2 chocolate pieces to hold his marshmallow. I watched 𝐬𝐻𝐻 read the box, so I think he understands why. Although, I don't think he knew how to handle melting chocolate since it was a little too hot to eat at first. 𝐬𝐻𝐻 ended up with chocolate dripping off his fingers. He couldn't figure out how to make it stop before just icing the s'more. I think I made it too cold. We all laughed at that. He looked so confused. 𝐬𝐻𝐻 decided he would just eat the marshmallow without the chocolate the second time he made one. It burned his hand a little. I packed burn ointment for this reason. He freaked out and held 𝐬𝐻𝐻's burn. He ended up without so much as a redder tone to his skin. Almost completely flawless. He thanked her and attempted to eat the still-on-fire mallow. I can't word correctly. Near sunset, we finally figured out why 𝐬𝐻𝐻 kept staring at 𝐾𝐦. You remind me of Endeavor. 𝐾𝐦's response was immediate. Never insult me like that again. Not in a bad way. 𝐬𝐻𝐻 put his hands up in surrender or to calm him, likely, in an overly determined to the point of self-destruction kind of way. That still sounds pretty bad, but that is better than other things about him. Way to point out the obvious. Eye bags. I don't have to write the rest. We already know those 2 started fighting. Toshi and I dropped 𝐬𝐻𝐻 off at home together. We also got his phone number. I told him to text us when wants to be kidnapped again. He likes 𝐬𝐻𝐻. I was right about them getting along great. I think he may just piss off 𝗓𝐵𝑟 more since meeting me. Things are gonna be so fun. After the holidays, 𝐬𝐻𝐻 is gonna come by and help with Yuri's quirk. Considering the severe lack of happiness in both of their lives, I'm doing a Disney marathon for them. I swear 𝐀𝐦 actually paid for the Disney Plus account. Yuri adjusted to living with us quickly. Her favorite place to sleep is in the kitchen because there's always noise in there. It took a solid 15 minutes of convincing to get her on the couch at least. I'm very proud of her. We're expecting a visit from 𝐸 before the holidays start. Next Sunday likely. Yuri is excited to see him again. Eraserhead is bringing him because he knows where we live and can get in contact with him. I think I'll get his number when he comes by. That's it for now. I'll write more in my journal when something else happens. February 26th, time for a rundown of the last few months in a matter of minutes. Christmas was relatively calm in my opinion. 𝐾𝐦 actually got gifts for the other entities we interact with. He has become softer. Don't let Hitoshi read this. Yuri's present for 𝐸 was bought before then. She asked me what I thought he might like. She explained she couldn't ask him when he was here because that would ruin the surprise. I completely understand. 𝐬𝐻𝐻 likes comedy and ramen. I actually wrote this in a separate notebook as well. Yuri doesn't quite know comedy all that well but understands it's meant to be funny. We jokingly called ramen yellow noodlets from Naruto. Yuri decided on stickers because everyone likes stickers, and if they say they don't, they're lying. She's not wrong. We found stickers with several different foods with food puns. I think my favorite is the banana one. I go bananas when I see you smile. According to Eraserhead, 𝐬𝐻𝐻 uses every excuse he has to make food-related puns since coming back to school. He doesn't know whether to groan or chuckle. The other kids have been sent into outrage twice a day. I know why you're all this reading my notebook though, so I'll get to it. Since we passed over January, we had 2 birthdays, 𝐀𝐻𝐻's and 𝐬𝐻𝐻's. We kidnapped him for the day. We had to ask for permission to kidnap him again. 𝐲𝐬𝐬 didn't mind. By the way, she's very pretty. It took 3 of us, including Himiko's begging and Yuri's puppy eyes, to get 𝐀𝐻𝐻 to go visit his sibling. We considered it a success when he immediately got tackled in a hug. Himiko joined their hug. I offered them a new dad in a different country who would absolutely illegally, or legally, adopt them and send them random things to make them smile. Those random things include emojis, weird American merch, plushies, memes, a malformed takeout box fresh from delivery, and every Warrior Cats book in print. Natsuo looked at me very seriously and nodded. I found a Warrior Cats fan. 𝐲𝐬𝐬 thought I was joking. I pulled up a non-disgraceful picture of my dad to sell the whole deal. Since when do people sell dads? My dad is tall, he gives great hugs, he's warm, he's funny. He's queer, he loves giving gifts, he could erase someone from the globe inconspicuously. His second in command would be our second dad. No, they're not together yet. and you would get an entire loving family comprised of your previously thought dead brother, his adopted sister, me the disaster child, the traumatized baby of the family, and our cat. They agreed to it. I think 𝐻𝐻𝐬 was sold from the minute I offered a new dad, but 𝐓𝐈𝐬 found the entire deal to be sweet. 𝐫𝐸 doesn't want the dad though, he just wants to see his mom. I asked if his mom could be mine too. He shrugged and said we'd see how it goes. It was early February when 𝐓𝐈𝐬-san took us to see Ms. Ray. I would have to ask her to adopt me as well. I'm too damn nervous for this. She's been in a mental hospital for years now. Let me tell you something about us people with sensory issues. We hate antiseptics. The smell is too strong and I am close to snapping if anything else irritates me. Good thing I wore my comfy clothes. Mostly my comfy clothes. The shirt I was wearing then was actually 𝐻𝐻𝐬's. I didn't tell him. You may be wondering, this is 𝐻𝐻𝐬's mom. Why isn't he coming too? To which I raise you because he still feels a little iffy about her. He has a different experience living with her through all of what happened originally than what 𝐫𝐸 had. Ray is such a calm person. I felt a little awkward standing there while 𝐫𝐸 apologized for, I don't know. Ray was confused too. I'm sure he tried to explain it, but Ray, the angel that she is, told him she's the one who should be apologizing. I think them both apologizing and forgiving the other is a good step in the right direction. I almost cried when she offered me a hug. There's just something that hits different when a mother hugs you. She smells like mint, which is refreshing considering the environment. If achievements actually popped up above your head or just in your field of vision, then mine would say Mother 𝐴𝐴. I might have said that out loud too. I at least made both of the women laugh. 𝐫𝐸 looked at me weirdly. I do miss my mom a lot. I've never been particularly good at hiding my feelings ever. It's why I got labeled a crybaby early on. Mama Ray is not a replacement for her. She's like a special add-on to the growing family. You've all been patient this far. Time for our entrance exam. I had to bug Hitoshi to tell us what the recommended exam was like since he's the only one who went. He gave vague details, like the jerk he is. Apparently, it was an obstacle course and he didn't give more details than that. An interview with the principal followed and he passed by while some of the teachers were talking about the written portion. The recommended exam just happened to be a week earlier than the normal exams, so his results came in the day before we had to compete in the exam, just in case. He got in. Hang on, I have to count. 6 of us went to the normal exam together. Hitoshi said he'd be watching us with his dad. Present Mike was announcing the rules and setup of the exam. I think I started a mutter storm. 𝐾𝐦 hit me on top of my head to get me to shut up. Someone called me out on it. A blue-haired guy with glasses told me to leave if I wasn't taking things seriously. The second time that day I embarrassed myself. Earlier I had almost tripped on the stairs. I was running behind. A cute, squishy girl used her quirk on me. I was too busy analyzing to properly respond to her. From what I can tell, she has a 5-point touch quirk. Not sure if it's specifically floating, anti-gravity, or makes objects lighter. How many things can she float at a time? How big an object can be? Can she float herself? Could she float dust or does that not count? Does it have to be big enough for her finger pads to touch? Needless to say, I kind of got lost in thought and came back to being pulled inside by 𝐫𝐸. The robots varied in size, mostly small like we were expecting. There was one big one meant as a distraction, worth 0 points. The kind of thing 𝐾𝐦 would take down to prove he could in any other circumstance. We had to go change and meet at our testing grounds according to what our cards said. 𝐾𝐦 was assigned to I got stuck in D. 𝐓𝐸𝐬𝐬 was placed in G and 𝐾𝐻𝐬𝐬 and 𝐫𝐸 were headed to B and F, respectively. Yes, I brought pliers and a screwdriver. I was just like, screw it, I'll bring both. Pun not intended. Is that a pun? The blue-haired guy was in the same battle zone as me. So was the girl who caught me earlier. I tried to go thank her but Blue called me out and told me off for trying to sabotage her. I could see Hitoshi up with present Mike. He was sitting on a rooftop with his legs over the edge while his dad was standing, clearly ready to scream. Why aren't you going? There are no countdowns in a real battle. Some of them were a little dumbfounded before the sense of urgency hit them. I raced on ahead. If there's one thing I'm thankful for, it's my never-ending stamina from having to run everywhere. Oh, and my anxiety gives me a shot of adrenaline for every new person who talks to me. I have become an expert at climbing up the side of things, especially things not meant to be climbed. The buildings in the mock city are relatively low, so I don't need to do much to get up. They are decently higher than the robots. I jumped down onto the nearest bot, 2 points apparently, and jabbed the screwdriver into a space. I pried off a bit of the metal casing, exposing the wires. I used my pliers to rip out a few wires. The bot immediately shut down. It went like that for a few more minutes. I got the drop on a few. I forgot to keep track of my points, but that's okay. Some kid wasn't paying attention. I think they were recharging their quirk, or they were in pain. I smacked the side of the bot to draw its attention and then impaled it with a random metal rod. I left the metal in there while the robot tried to turn towards me. The rod scraped against the side of one of its arms. The metal tore open. The kid I helped shot a laser, effectively destroying the bot. Before I could ask if they were okay, they sauntered off quickly. I shrugged and figured I'd get a hold of them after the exam. Maybe I can adopt another person in our group. Bad Izuku, you can't adopt random people. If I get to know him though, I can adopt him. That's only if we both end up passing and end up in the same class. The real issue with the exam is the big guy. I was perfectly fine with just ignoring the 0-point bot. Let him be, not my problem. But then it showed up. Everyone turned tail and ran. And then I saw her. The girl who stopped me from falling on my face was about to get crushed. I ran. I didn't stop to think. I don't have a habit of doing that anyway. Think while I go, you know. I didn't have a plan. There's no way I could climb it, and I don't have anything that could boost me high enough. Pliers are decently sturdy. I dropped down and pried the rubble off of her. Good thing the robot is slow. I picked her up and ran away from the bot, though I had a feeling it was gonna catch up even at its slow speed. She didn't feel all that heavy, which worried me. Hey, hang on. I'm gonna float us, okay. Maybe that'll help. Oh yeah, if I could get up, I could stop the robot. Great. Fly free. I set her down on a roof and kicked off the edge to go higher quickly. I grabbed onto a shoulder and started prying off pieces of armor. It had almost reached the buildings up ahead. It seemed no one else was worried about this guy. I cut one of the internal wires and the robot stopped walking. Suddenly I felt it fall. I let go before it smacked against the ground and floated above the rubble. I floated towards the girl and struggled to catch myself as she released me. Thanks for that. I probably would have been crushed if you hadn't helped. No problem. Thanks for keeping me afloat. President Mike called times up after that. I don't think I got enough points. I also said that out loud. Maybe I can trade you some of mine. It's alright. I just need to be in the top 36. Not that hard, right? Yeah, I guess. Oh, hang on, I gotta. Whatever else she was about to say was cut off by her vomiting pink sparkles. I patted her back. I'm not normally around vomiting people, sue me. She wiped her mouth and looked at me like I was a saint here. I'm not that, sir. Don't be confused. Hopefully I'll see you at school. I've gotta go get changed. Bye. Bye. My brain decided after she had left to remind me you didn't get her name, and my immediate response was to try to find her. I didn't see her again that day. When I met up with the others, they were talking about some of the people they ran into. Shoto had run into some guy eating sugar to get stronger. Kaken had met some pink girl who, for the life of her, couldn't name her quirk correctly, and he had to drag some people out of the way because of that. Kyoka saw someone short-circuit their brain like an idiot. 𝗵𝐸𝐻 talked to someone with way too much energy and his skin coated in steel. Interesting in my opinion. They all asked me if I was with anyone of interest. I thought of the laser kid I saved. The blue-haired speed guy. I noticed he has engines like 𝐀𝐦 𝐍𝐴𝐭. And the girl I forgot to ask the name for. There was this kid with a laser. I think his quirk hurts him. Then the blue boy from earlier who yelled at me. He was there. He has engines in his legs. Also, this squishy girl who stopped me from falling on my face earlier was there too. Her quirk allows her to float things. I think she's sweet. Kaken complained how he was surrounded by idiots who couldn't control their quirks or use them to even half potential. Kyoka pointed out how most kids don't have training by the point of the entrance exam, and Kaken responded with if they were even serious about being a hero they would have learned anything by now. Itoshi told us that there were a few kids that actually stood out to him. There was a frog girl who had a mega kick, some invisible person who pulled the wires out of the robots, a guy who used multiple quirks of the people around him, and a girl with vines for hair. Toshi mentioned a kid who was constantly setting up instances where he would somehow touch some of the female examinees in inappropriate areas. Eraserhead went down to the field and pulled him out of the exam as soon as Toshi told Mike, and then he told Eraser. What was his quirk? I could expect a villain out of that kid. He could pull his hair off and things would stick to it. He bounced off of them though. I figure whatever quirks everyone else saw, I'd write down and analyze until I had all of their strengths and weaknesses for when school starts, and after that, the sports festival. Now our results come in a week. I know Shikzu has later exams in case anyone from UA or the other hero schools didn't make it can still try for a prestigious school. Shikzu is also on the other side. I wonder what the difference in the curriculum is like. The entire week I was nervously walking from 3 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. Look, just because I did okay does not mean I did well. All my training up to this point will be useless. Hitoshi, who is in fact up at those hours, assures me I will get in because he got in and he knows I'm stronger and more suited to being a hero. That isn't much. Maybe I should have done the recommended exam. I can at least do an interview. What's done is done. Calm down or I will sweep you off your feet. I had to stifle a snort. Hitoshi has improved, but he's not the best when it comes to fighting me. If anyone could sweep me off my feet, it'd be Kaken. Yeah, sure. To prove a point, Toshi went and hooked his leg behind mine. I pulled the front of his collar down, which made him off balance and brought him down to his knees. Good start, horrible finish. I think that required a bit more flour. You're terrible and you don't even know how to cook. I couldn't help but fall and laugh at him. Unfortunately, I was on the sidewalk and concrete hurts. All good though, I got by with a minor scrape. 𝐀𝐦 almost died of choking on air when I told him how I got the scrape. Finally, our results came in. 𝐀𝐦 called all of us to scream I won because he ranked highest. 𝐓𝐸 and 𝐷𝗀𝗏 both ranked in the top 10. 𝐀𝐦 got enough to be in the top 20. I got by with 13th place. I was the 13th overall. We're all going to UA. How common are red eyes again? The familiar clicking of a phone keyboard was followed by Himiko humming. It says red eyes are the third most common eye color following brown and then orange. Thanks, Himiko. I won't stand out too much if I wear my cherry-colored contacts, right? Slow footsteps make their way to my room. There stands 𝐀𝐦 in all his gothic glory. He's holding something. Your hair is bleached. You're gonna stand out regardless of your eye color. Cool, what's in the bag? One of the less kind eye rolls and basically dropping the container on my bed later he finally answers. I made you lunch. Hurry up or you'll be late and Eraserhead will expel you. Or worse, he'll ground you. Today is the first day of UA. I'm nervous and I spent all night trying to figure out what I was gonna say to my new classmates. What if I don't make a good impression? What if they hate me? What if they find out I'm quirkless? Even worse, what if they find out I was lying on my file about having a quirk? I'm not good with people. I'm not even sure how I have friends. It doesn't help that my most social friend will stab people she likes and the other most social is a living quirk. What do I do if someone starts talking to me without warning? I won't survive small talk. Here's her wig. I curled it for you. Won't it just fall off his head? We're not doing anything more than orientation today. If it falls off, that means I fell off a few steps. 𝐀𝐦. The wig in question is shimmery white gold with strips of blonde and orange through it. I look like 𝐀𝐦 with this setup. How many people will think we're related? I'm ready to leave. He stops me by the door to hug me and 𝐀𝐦 pushes me out so I'm not any later. I walk alone to school. I think my friends are already there and I'm just really late. Hopefully, I can still get into the school. I have to walk up a mountain to even get to the doors. I've always been better at listening than speaking so I can listen to my own thoughts. Maybe I can guess who will be there. There are a couple of other kids in my area. The blue-haired one might be there. I know a female recommended kid will be there. That kid with the laser, hoping floaty girl, 𝐴𝐻𝐸 I believe, will be there. I don't pass any villain fights, sadly. But I did get to pass by a drug deal in progress. I made eye contact with the guys and just nodded as I passed. Okay, I stared at their eyebrows because I didn't want to see their eyes and I think they stared into my eyes. Nothing happened after I passed and neither followed me down the block. I assumed they'd just ignore me if I ignored them. The drug itself was probably just heroin, but you can never be too sure. I'll let Eraserhead know when I get to school. Focus on anything. Focus on anything. Focus on anything. Is that a burning dumpster? I blinked hard enough to hear my eyes close. Oh, I'm probably gonna be late if I do this, but it's so worth it. I snap a good picture of the dumpster and post it on Tumblr, tagging it as Endeavor. I switch over to camera mode and start filming. I give the video 2 seconds before speaking. Hey, it's your boy, 𝐻𝐸. Today we are witnessing a pro hero in its natural habitat. Endeavor, how do you feel? I push my phone a little closer to the flames and listen to them crackle. Well, you heard it here folks, Endeavor is doing just fine on this lovely Monday morning. 𝐻𝐸 signing off. I do an audio check before posting it to YouTube. Now is a good time for kids to check out the video before class starts. There should be about 200 views in the 5 minutes before school. Speaking of I have to rush, I make sure my backpack is zipped. I have a habit of leaving it unzipped to take notes and duck a little as I bolt. It takes me 3 minutes to clear the distance from where I was to the top of the mountain. Considering I can walk through the gate, I didn't forget my student ID. I race into the main building and panic for another solid minute. This building is so big, I swear, it's like they expect villains to actually try to make their way through normally and not bust down a wall. What classroom is that? The door is huge and not the one I'm looking for, but maybe the teacher will know. 1H seems to be a pretty noisy class, probably just bustling with excitement. I knock on the door. The door slides open to greet me with Power Loader. That's cool actually. He's the only hero who also has a license to make his own support items. His quirk gives him iron fingertips, which he uses to dig holes beneath villains to trap them inside for easy capture. You're looking for 1 Fahrenheit if you're going for analytics. Oops, actually sir, I'm looking for the hero course class 1A. It's a good thing your teacher is late too. Come on. Power Loader leads me down a few more confusing hallways until we arrive in front of a door just as large as his classroom. A large one covers it. I wave goodbye as I struggle to pull the door open. Is it a sideways pull? I slide the door towards the wall and mentally slap myself. I'm an idiot. I cannot figure out how to close the door, so I'll just leave it be. Maybe Eraserhead won't be mad at me. The first thing I notice is 𝐀𝐦 arguing with the blue-haired kid from the exam. Well I figured. He's got something against his feet being on the desk. 𝐀𝐦 has always done that though. Behind him is an empty seat, good to know, and behind that is Hitoshi with his head down. I guess he's trying to catch a few more Z's. Eraserhead should be here then, right? Kyoka is staring at me out of the corner of her vision, I think, probably wondering why I'm just standing here. She's next to Kaken. Rip her ears. 𝗵𝐸𝐻 is next to Hitoshi. I feel bad for the people around them. No one can handle the edge. Dark Shadow is out and chatting though, which is nice. Shoto is behind 𝗵𝐸𝐻. He seems to be content to just stare off into space. That boy's ability to zone out is admirable. Wish I could do that. I know that sounds weird. Shut up. The blue-haired boy is approaching me. Anxiety sensors going off. Abort mission, abort mission. Blue hair stops just in front of me and introduces himself as 𝐸𝐻𝐻𝐬. That's cool. He then proceeds to ask if I knew something about the true nature of the exam. Well, it just made sense that there would be a rescue portion because the first rule of heroism is to prioritize the rescue. Actually, though, I had no idea there would be rescue points. He blinks to process my words before nodding. I feel a presence behind me. I'm greeted with Gravity Girl. Uraraka, come on brain, catch up. Oh, hey, you look so different from the last time I saw you. Yeah, well, I'm sort of a chameleon. Oh, is that your quirk? I wish. No, I'm just really into cosplay and figured I would come to school in some of my wigs. You look really cute though. Do you think orientation will start soon? I'm so nervous. I can't wait to meet all of our teachers. Before I could respond, a very tired, very familiar voice spoke up from behind Uraraka. If you're just here to make friends, go home. Hello, Eraserhead. Toshi told me about your moving sleeping bag, but I didn't think you'd do it on the first day of class. Eraser squiggled his way into the room in a bright yellow sleeping bag. He stood up in the thing and unzipped it from the inside before stepping out. I heard someone ask, who is this guy? My name is Aizawa Shota. I'm your homeroom teacher. Will one of you please wake Hitoshi up? The other kids looked a bit confused at who Hitoshi is, but 𝗵𝐸𝐻 reached over and shook him a bit. He slowly sat up, and realizing Eraserhead is here, immediately snapped to attention. Eraserhead reaches into his sleeping bag to pull out a blue and white uniform. He passes it to Uraraka. Put these on and meet me outside. Eraserhead deposits a large stack of uniforms on the desk closest to him, which contains a boy with a tail, and slowly slouches out the door. Wow, this is my size. How'd he know? We had to submit our measurements for our hero costumes, dumbass. Kaken. Oh, it's alright, Aka-kun. He doesn't have nearly enough anger behind it. I send a small nod Uraraka's way before grabbing a gym uniform and heading into the hall. Now I have to find the locker rooms. No sweat. One of the boys, blonde with a black lightning bolt, goes off in a specific direction. I decide to follow him. I manage to find the locker rooms that way. So he does know where he's going. That's good. All the other males in class followed as well. The girls' locker room is on the other side of a wall from us. That's nice to know. Will they allow me to change in the boys' locker room? What are their policies concerning transgender and non-binary students? What are you three just standing around for? Eraserhead is staring at us expectantly. Who is just as confused as me. Seems a red-haired boy. Obviously died, and an invisible girl. That's weird. Why are they so confused? Sir. The redhead cut off and stared at the ground nervously. I don't know about these two, but I was wondering which locker room I should use. Oh, the invisible girl is unsure as well. Oh, good, I'm not alone in this. Hagakure, use the women's locker room. Are you sure? I mean, she trailed off nervously, not really certain or seemingly confident enough to finish it. Kirishima, use the men's. There really isn't an issue. If you feel you'd be more comfortable in the other, then go in there. The two of them stood with their mouths agape and slowly shuffled into their preferred changing rooms. I stood there silently waiting until I caught his attention. Why aren't you changing? I don't like changing in front of people I'm unfamiliar with. He let out a deep sigh. There are showers in there with curtains. Don't turn on the water and you won't be as nervous. I shrugged in minor agreement and dashed into the men's locker room. Some of the boys were discussing what Eraserhead was having us do. I noticed Kirishima looking nervous as hell. Kaken had his head on the wall. Shoto was staring at him. Shoto-kun, maybe try staring less. I duck behind a curtain and change quickly. I can hear someone shuffling closer to me. Most of the room is empty when I step out. Shoto is waiting there for me. Kirishima is right behind him. Hey man, I noticed you were just as confused by the locker rooms as I was, and I just want to say I support you. I think you're real manly for being yourself. Manly, is that a compliment? Kirishima has red hair dye. He seems to think manliness, and if I had to guess, chivalry is what it takes to be a good person. Our teacher is probably wondering where we are. I'll get the door for you. Chivalry, I was right. Oh, Crimson Riot must be like an idol to him. That's cute actually. Thanks, Kirishima. For what it's worth, I think you're becoming a great man. Bakumo, why did you change behind the curtain? You see, Shoto-kun, I don't like changing in front of people I don't know. I like Kirishima already, so I will have no issue with him. The rest of our classmates is a different matter. Kirishima is still beaming from the compliment I gave him and Shoto just looks confused. I guess his sense of shame isn't really there. Perks of not having a shame-based identity, I guess. Outside, our classmates are nervously staring at our teacher. Eraserhead seems to have just explained something to them because they all look a little upset, especially Uraraka. I figured out her name from the acceptance projection because she tried to offer her points to me. She's really sweet. What we miss? The lighting bolt blonde glanced over at the three of us and sighed. We're not going to orientation. Apparently, we've got some kind of test. Now that everyone is here, Bakugo, come here. 𝐀𝐦 shrugs his shoulders, which I've come to know as him getting ready to fight. Well, use his quirk. Eraser hands him a ball. He palms it. What was your farthest throw in middle school? 67 meters. I hear someone whistle. Okay, yeah, 𝐀𝐦 is amazing. Throw this with your quirk. Anything goes, just stay inside the circle. I've seen 𝐀𝐦 play baseball before. He tends to break the bat when he's batting. His pitching, though, that's on point. I've never seen a better aim than his. Of course, he yells die before firing. The explosion is way louder than I expected. I thought I was used to them. The ball flies out of sight. A machine dings and Eraserhead shows us the number on it. 705. 2 meters. There's some surprise among the others. Of course, with the force of explosion behind it, the ball would go farther. It's just something you'd pick up if you knew anything about gravity and force. You all will compete in 8 tests using your quirks so I can judge your potential. This is gonna be fun. A cheery voice pipes up near me. I single it out to be the lighting blonde guy. Fun. The last place will be deemed to have no potential and expelled. A few shocked whispers and wondering if he can do that flitter through the crowd. I can tell Eraser is serious based on his tone. I glance at one of the girls shaking her head. She doesn't believe him. The first test is a 50-meter dash. That's 164 feet for the Americans. A few people go before me, including the frog girl Hitoshi called out back during the exam. Uraraka lightens her clothes, I guess. I have plenty more stamina and strength since the last time I took one of these fitness tests, so it's up in the air what I'm getting stuck with. I raced as fast as I could. Honestly, I can't be too sure I was going all that fast until Lighting Blonde stared at me and whispered what the fuck softly but with feeling. Before I could ask what that meant, Eraser showed me how fast I cleared that. It wasn't as fast as Blue Hair, but I still cleared it faster than most of the other kids. 42 seconds. That's faster than Usain Bolt. I shrugged and walked back to the main grouping. I realize now that no obvious quirk used makes them curious or horrified. Does the boy think, oh no, I'm quirkless? Or did he just see how fast I went without using an obvious quirk or something? How'd you go so fast? Do you have a speed quirk? The lightning blonde questions me. Not even gonna ask my name before we get into quirk stuff, huh? I leave him to stutter out an apology or whatever. Eraserhead sets up the next test, which is a grip strength indicator. That's not where my strength lies. I can punch pretty hard. I can grapple and break out of a headlock. I cannot hold someone's wrist tight though. This guy with 6 arms is holding the board for the strongest grip. I give a pathetic squeeze. Hitoshi complains about having baby hands next to me. He gets a solid 47 kilograms. I think that's good. I get 56, which isn't bad, but compared to 540, we pale in comparison. The next thing is a standing long jump. I am mentally thanking myself for learning Parker. It should be just like hopping across rooftops to tag another billboard. As an added bonus, I grip my phone like a spray can before hopping across. I land just after the sandlot. Better than I expected, but I'm gonna need to do better. Hitoshi clears the sandlot with several feet to spare. When did he get good at this? 𝐀𝐦 just blasts right over. Kyoka vaults over with her jacks. Shoto coats the ground before the sandlot in ice. He slides and jumps and spins in the air before landing and sliding to a stop. What the hell was that? I skate. Any other questions are shut down by his blunt and cool appearance. Uraraka floats herself over and lands very calmly. She then helps Shoto clean up his ice. He melts a huge stack of the ice down. Our next task is repeated sidesteps, and no one does particularly well at that except a pink girl. Didn't 𝐀𝐦 mention a pink girl who couldn't control her quirk? That must be her. Oh hey, I can help you with quirk control if you'd like. She gives me a puzzled look. She then looks me up and down before giggling. Yeah, alright, cutie. What have you got for me? I'd have to see how you use it, but for now try not to throw it around too much. She giggles at me. Do you even know what my quirk is? All I know is it's dangerous, and you almost hurt a couple of people during the entrance exam. The rest of the class finishes up their side steps while we talk. It's acid and it kind of has a tendency to hurt people, even myself. Oh, well, I can get throwing it around, but you could hurt your teammates too. Try shooting it like a water gun or a faucet. Have you ever seen one of those cones, a funnel? People use them to cook. The bottom end is what you should be going for if that makes any sense. Thanks, and yeah, I've cooked with a funnel before. So something like this. She presses her hands together and points outward. She opens a small hole with her fingers and spouts acid. Yeah, that'll work. Thanks. Looks like you're up. Oh, the ball throw from the example. I grip it in my hands. It's more of a softball, right? Let's see, he said. Anything goes, just stay inside the circle. Anything goes, right? Eraser nods and gestures for me to continue. I cannot guarantee that 𝐀𝐦 immediate reaction won't be catching the ball, so I'll ignore him for now. I rear back and send the ball rapidly flying towards 𝐸𝐸𝐸. I'll make sure to apologize for this afterward. 𝐸𝐸𝐸 yelps in surprise and smacks the ball away. It flies for a while before she finally realizes what happened and brings the ball back into gravity. I hear Eraser's machine beep before people begin muttering if that is allowed. 750 meters. That's farther than almost everyone else. Eraser writes something down and has Toshi step into the circle. I glance at everyone staring at me. They immediately watch what Toshi will do. Hitoshi mumbles something and spikes the ball at 𝐓𝐸𝐸𝐸, and Dark Shadow smacks it away before it can hit him. Eraser mutters something that suspiciously sounds like problem children. 90 meters, better than a regular throw. Thanks, Dark Shadow. You almost hurt 𝐓𝐸𝐸𝐸. I watch as he apologizes profusely to them. 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 bounces towards me. She has a questioning look on her face. Sorry about using you like that. I figured my throw wouldn't be hard enough to go very far. I appreciate the help though. Right, thanks Aka-kun. I'm curious though, why me and not anyone else? Canceling the gravity would send it farther, and returning its gravity would give it a few more meters before falling. Your quirk was made for this scenario. The last 3 tests are a distance run, seated toe touches, and sit-ups. I am an expert in random exercises, and sit-ups are my second most popular style, right after jumping jacks. I like to say I have hella stamina, which usually gets a laugh out of 𝐓𝐸𝐸𝐸. That stamina is great for a distance run. I think Kirishima is staring at me because of how far I can go without getting tired. Is that weird? For the toe touch, we just have to reach a stick set up at our feet. That isn't difficult for anyone. Except maybe the girl who's unbelieving of Eraser's expulsion threat. If I had to bend forward with a large chest in the way, I would cry. We gather in a clump while Eraser projects our scores. Shoto ranked second, just under Yae Urazu. Who is that? Oh, that's the disbelieving girl, understood. Of course, 𝐀𝐦 ranked third. I ranked 11th, just above someone named Kota. Hitoshi ranked in last place. No one is getting expelled today. That was just a rational deception to make sure you did your best. Go grab a syllabus from inside. Eraser's feral grin, barely hidden by his scarf, is the last thing I saw before someone started shaking me. Is this how 𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐸 feels when he says his motion sickness is acting up? That was so nerve-wracking. I thought for sure we were gonna get expelled. Just 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸. No threat to deal with. Still, I kind of feel like I'm gonna throw up. He wasn't lying about expelling someone. He just thought you all had potential. Everyone stares at me at that horrible revelation. The whole reason I'm in the hero course is that Aizawa-sensei thinks I have potential. He called you Hitoshi. Your family name is Shinsu. No thanks, please don't. He doesn't like where that name came from. I don't like where mine came from either. Call him Hitoshi, call me Shoto. Sure, I'm Kaminari. He really is lightning. That's a god of thunder. I wasn't paying all that much attention during the test, so maybe he does have an electricity quirk. Kaminari, you were trying to get at something. Oh no, never mind. It doesn't matter now. Okay, you asked earlier what my quirk is? You want to know still? He nods. A couple of other people agree. Oh cool, I'm famous. This class will be so disappointed to know it's nothing cool. I mean, I technically don't have one, but I wanted it listed as some kind of analysis quirk. My quirk lets me see a few standard things like quirks, stats, and HP. A few just blink at me. Ada raises his hand. I don't understand. Like game stats, abilities, and such. HP as in how much until you're unconscious or dead. Oh, what's my quirk then? This is where I curse myself. Guys, he has an analysis quirk. He's just fucking with you. A small disappointed "oh" comes from Kaminari before he gets excited. You mean you almost made it into the top 10 by just your natural physical strength for most of these tests? Oh yeah, it's not a big deal. By the way, you have an electricity quirk. No way, how did you know? Your hair has a lightning bolt, and I'd say you have a pretty electric personality. A groan escapes 𝐀𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐸 from where he's standing a bit away from the group. We've all officially arrived at the classroom door by now. 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 hurriedly opens the door and grabs the syllabuses and throws them at everyone. Thanks, Infinity Girl. Thank you, Ura-chan. You're welcome, boys. And my name is 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 Ochako. A little bit of laughter escapes her lips as she introduces herself to Ada, and by technicalities, the entire class. I duck out of the group and start dragging my emo squad away. Kyoka is suppressing a grin and 𝐓𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 looks conflicted. What can't handle a few puns? You know it takes a while for a good one to hatch. 𝐀𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 groans again and Shoto lets out a ha. Hitoshi has an evil-looking grin on his face. I totally blew that test. Might as well call me a whale. A long-suffering sigh followed by a shut up comes from 𝐀𝐦. Itoshi grins at me before thinking his next words carefully. If you throw a cat out a window, does it become kitty litter? I swear if you don't shut the fuck up eye bags. Aw, you're not a musehead. I thought these made you feline great. That's it. 𝐀𝐦 froze completely before he could swing. I stared at Itoshi disapprovingly before he released his control of 𝐀𝐦. I will kill you later. Sure man, I'd love to see how hard you try. A few more grumbled threats and we're finally walking out the gate. I decide just one more pun. Besides he won't try to kill me, I only made 2. I want to espresso my love for you, but I don't have enough caffeine to share. 𝐀𝐦-chan, I will murder you in your sleep. I smile innocently at 𝐀𝐦 as loud footsteps catch up to us. Oh, hold up. Aka-kun, I didn't give you my number. Hira-chan, you really don't have to. Nonsense. Friends have to be able to communicate. You have their numbers right, so you should have mine. I hand over my phone so she can add herself. Itoshi is mouthing something. I consider myself a novice lip reader, so no, I don't know what he wants. 𝐀𝐦 is slowly walking ahead of us. Ada isn't too far behind 𝗧𝗏. The extroverts have adopted us. You never introduced yourself earlier. I couldn't let it be not knowing your name when I tell my family about today. Akatani Makumo, known professionally as Egg. Let me type my number on her phone and I'll get back to you. 𝐀𝐦, stop walking. I hear his feet come closer to the group. I simply list myself as 𝐬𝐬 in 𝗧𝗏's contacts. Ada is standing there stiffly. I think he's trying to figure something out. Yo, 4 eyes. He is that Egg. Yes, he knows vandalism is illegal. Though, you can't turn him in. Now that all this bullshit friend-making and whatever the hell else is over, can we please go home? We all agree to walk 𝗧𝗏 and Ada to the train since they're the only ones who don't live near here. 𝗧𝗏 tells us she got a place closer to the school than her home so the train wouldn't take too much time or money. I'm gonna buy her a squishmallow. Shoto and 𝗧𝗏 fill in any silence there might have been otherwise, with Ida and Toshi-kun chiming in occasionally. 𝐀𝐦 mostly rolls his eyes and 𝐾𝐲 offers her sarcastic one-liners under her breath. 𝗵𝗃𝐾𝐦 joins in around the base of our lovely mountain. 𝐀𝐦 says it's a hill, and I mostly just listen. I'm good at listening. We wave bye to our extroverts and split up into 𝐀𝐦, me, Toshi, and Shoto, and then 𝐾𝐲 and 𝗵𝗃𝐾𝐦. The 2 of them walk to their part of the city. The 4 of us try our best to avoid Endeavor Street for as long as possible. Toshi and Shoto discuss a new theory about some recent sightings. Something about corpses with exposed brains much larger than normal humans. Aliens is a good one. 𝐀𝐦 thinks the whole thing is stupid and people are playing a damn prank. I suggested maybe it's someone's quirk. Shoto thought the exposed brain people might be related to. That makes some sense, I guess. We legally have to drop Shoto off at home. I hate the concept of leaving him with Endeavor. Itoshi hates that concept too. 𝐀𝐦 says he'll fight the number 2 hero for him. Shoto just shrugs and says bringing the 3 of us over would piss him off enough for him to be satisfied. We let Itoshi go find his parents and 𝐀𝐦 goes home alone. As soon as I'm outside the apartment building, I'm tackled in a hug. Here he is grinning at me with a school bag in her hand. She had her first day of school too. I let her lead me inside and listen to her ramble. The second day of school, technically the first real day of school, is today. According to our schedules, we also have our first heroics class today. I think it's understating to say we were all excited. But first, we had to sit through mind-numbing classes, which I almost always enjoyed beforehand. Present Mike is our English teacher. I specifically turned around in my seat to stare at Itoshi until he sunk his head in embarrassment. Both of his foster parents working here gives ample amount of attempts to tease him, but I'm not gonna do that verbally, just by staring uncomfortably Shoto style. We had the famous lunch rushes cooking for lunch. Hira-chan insisted on sitting with our group. 𝐀𝐦 gave her his stink eye the entire time. Toshi almost laughed in Ada's face when he asked to sit with us. I let him sit and kicked Toshi in the shin. After lunch is our heroic lessons. As an added awkward bonus, All Might is teaching them. Yeah, unfortunately, the first thing fresh in my memory is the time I spazzed out and shot him in the face with paint. Yeah, not my best moment. Our lesson is combat. We were told to wear our hero costumes. Those costumes came out of the wall in cases. Now, I know what you're thinking. You already have costumes from your dad. They're super effective too, and I would probably say you're right, reader. Our previously used costumes will be considered our stealth suits considering how effective they are for sneaking around. Our UA-provided costumes will be our official ones. They might be less effective for taking hits considering support companies made them, likely to be flashy and to show off. After yesterday's locker room confusion, I am now much more confident in which one I will be choosing. I decided I'd rather change in the women's. Yes, I will still be hiding behind the curtain. The pink-skinned girl, the one with acid, pointed out my being in there to the other 5 women. Is he trying to snoop or something? Nah, they're just feeling a little comfier in here than with the boys. I think 𝐀𝐦 exists. I am not interested in seeing anyone naked. That's just weird. I would very much like not to be kicked out of here considering it's much quieter and friendlier. Also, I trust them not to stare at me if I do decide to change in front of others. Hey, 𝐀𝐦, can we at least see your costume before we head out? The voice is familiar. Oh, that's 𝐻𝐸. She's the invisible one. I mean, I'm not entirely against that. They'll all see anyway and I trust them not to be mean. Sure. Please, don't laugh. I hear a few chuckles and someone shushing the others before everyone agrees not to laugh. I stepped around the curtain nervously, waiting for the inevitable insults or at least mocking laughter. I mean, I do look kind of dumb. I have dark green rabbit ears attached to a hood, a dark green jumpsuit with black and thin white lining on the body and upper arms, bright red elbow and knee pads, red gloves missing the thumb on the right hand with black electronic lines, a metallic mouth guard with a rabbit face imprint, and red goggles with black one-way tinted frames. I am pushing a rabbit aesthetic on myself. 𝐓𝐲𝐬 suggested I go the fully furry route. Not exactly in those words. The bunny thing will appeal to little kids at least. The girls stared silently for a minute. The pink girl walked forward first and pointed her finger at my chest. You're adorable, she declared. 𝐻𝐸 agreed and the frog girl said her little sister would like me. 𝐬𝐬 might have muttered something about being jealous. 𝐬𝐬 asked me about the ears. Do they act like bunny's ears or are they just there? So far I'm pretty sure they're just aesthetic. Not everything has to be functional, but I would appreciate the hearing that comes with it. This is like a downgrade from my previous costume. Akatani-chan. We all just received our costumes, what do you mean? The frog girl is questioning me. I don't want to lie to them. I'm not supposed to share what went down right. I didn't use a quirk and I had Eraserhead's permission anyway. I, before school started, participated in a mission and had a hero costume. My previous one was a bit more practical than this one. Well, why don't you wear that one? I figured it'd be best to save for stealth missions, not training to be in front of a camera for the rest of existence. She seemed satisfied with my response, which is nice. Do I get points for socializing correctly? I probably screwed up actually, and she's just leaving me be to be nice. It's whatever. I think we should get going now. I don't think All Might would appreciate us being late. The pink girl bounced up quickly and started dragging 𝐻𝐸 and 𝐀𝐦 away. 𝐬𝐬 and the frog girl, I should really ask her name, followed after calmly. 𝐬𝐬 offered her arm to me, which I clung to as we hurried outside. We were the last ones out. All Might glanced over everyone as we stood outside, buzzing with nervousness. I think I heard someone actually buzzing. Oh, it's just Kaminari. I guess his electricity just does that. You all look like heroes. I couldn't help but smile. He's my idol, 𝐬𝐬. I vaguely felt movement and realized I was still holding onto 𝐬𝐬. I mentally shrugged and continued to hold on. If she has a problem, she'll mention it, I think. All Might proceeded to explain the rules of the exercise. He pulled out a packet when some kids started asking questions. He's not very good at teaching, I'm guessing. The rules are simple, 2 to a team. A villain team will be guarding an atomic bomb, and the hero team will be trying to extract it safely. We're given capture tape to capture the villains and a map to figure out the layout before entering. Teams are randomized because you'll never know who you'll have to work with in the future. 𝐬𝐬 and I were placed on a team together. For some reason, Hitoshi was smirking at me. I will choose to ignore him. Our villain team is 𝐻𝐸 and 𝐸. I am mentally cursing everything. I'm going to place in a request for a taser gun after training. What? A support item. Hopefully, it'll work out nicely enough. Yeah, okay, 𝐻𝐸-kun. So what should we do first? I'm so excited. Do they really expect us to memorize this whole thing? This floor plan is insane. Hey, sorry, I ramble when I'm nervous. Are you even listening? Oh, I'm listening. I'm just getting a feel for things. Can you float yourself? Air, cancel your own gravity. Yeah, but I'll throw up quickly. Here, take my grappling hook. 𝐻𝐸-kun. This is a gardening tool and attached to a rope. Homemade, I'll throw it up. But I want you to climb up and go through preferably the 4th floor window, but 3rd is alright as well. I'll enter on the opposing side through a window. Okay, cool. Why not the front door? They'll be expecting that. Especially 𝐸. I don't think the concept of entering through a window makes sense to him. If you think something else will work, we can do that. No, I like your plan. So what after? How do we deal with our opponents? I'd prefer if you ended up with 𝐻𝐸 because you could probably swing him around with those huge gauntlets. If you end up with 𝐸, try taunting him, and as soon as he rushes at you, be prepared to trip him with the capture tape. 𝐻𝐸 most likely will want to fight me because we've been fighting each other for so long, while training together. I close my mouth to stop from muttering too much more. I bet half of what I just said was unintelligible. I eat the grappling hook and yank on it to make sure it's in place. 𝐬𝐬 looks excited, which is nice. She's not completely mortified or disgusted at the mumbling. 𝐬𝐬 starts climbing the rope as I walk around the side. I can hear her grunting through the comm links we were given for the exercise. I know 𝐀𝐦 can't wear his because of the hearing aid. That would prove difficult if they're apart. I step back and jump up. I get a hold of a second-floor windowsill. I pull myself inside and land in a quiet roll. I quietly make my way to a staircase. I ascend slowly and listen for anything. Instead, sound comes from below. Someone is on the second floor. I crouch at the midpoint of the stairs. 𝐜𝐸 stands out of view, but I can hear him speak. Is 𝐀𝐦 on the floor too, or is he talking to himself? An answer is given when he says I haven't tried that room and moves on that way. He's looking for us. 𝐀𝐦 told him we'd come in on the upper floors and skip the first entirely. I slink down the stairs and quietly make my way towards the room 𝐜𝐸 went into. There's a hall just outside, which is a bit of a tight fit. I circle around and set up some tape and then loudly walk away from my trap. I can hear 𝐜𝐸 running without his quirk. He steps into the hall. I wave at him and dart around the corner. I hear him rev and then I see his face slide into view on the ground. I use his circumstance to tie him up and run past him. I make sure my comm is working by muttering 3 words. Those words are marmalade, vermilion, and wisteria. I found 𝐵𝑘𝑢𝐬. He's a tougher opponent than I realized. I'm on the 3rd floor. I got 𝐸𝐸. I found him on the 2nd. But I want you to be surprised and say the 1st floor, no way. The 1st floor, no way. He came all the way down to intercept you. Her ad-libbing seemed to work because I could smell 𝐀𝐦 getting closer to the stairs. He must be coming to intercept me. I duck into the room 𝐜𝐸 was trying to check. I hear 𝐬𝐸 say she's going to follow 𝐀𝐦 downstairs. I quietly respond to let her know I heard and stay silent as I wait. I count a minute before checking outside the door. I exit as quietly as I can. 𝐬𝐸-chan, where are you? 1st floor. I think I may be around the east wing. I planted your grappling hook around here, quietly. 𝐵𝑘𝑢𝐬 might have found it. I set it up like a trip wire. I think it was a good idea. You did great. I'm heading upstairs now. The weapon isn't on the 3rd floor. Good luck. Don't need it. I move as quickly as a rabbit and stick to the edges of the rooms as I search. 𝐬𝐸 warns me that 𝐀𝐦 is coming back upstairs. I inform her that she should try to float herself up to the 4th floor. I don't hear her for a minute before she comes through a window close to me. Go find the weapon. I'll intercept him at the top of the stairs, and I'm sorry about making you use your quirk on yourself. It's okay, 𝐀𝐻-kun. I'll see you in a few minutes. I race to the top of the stairs and immediately flip a flying 𝐀𝐦 over. He twists around to knock me off balance. I duck into a roll and kick at his ankle in a crouch. 𝐀𝐦 swings an arm at me while catching his balance, which I use to knock him further off balance. You've gotten worse at this. Are your new gauntlets too heavy for you? Yeah, right. I'm just not used to swinging around this much weight. Your punches are slow. I duck out of the way of a punch. I catch a kick that was a little too obvious. 𝐀𝐦 steps back and grins triumphantly. I raise an eyebrow. You know what's so cool about these gauntlets, 𝐀𝐦-chan? They hold all the sweat I've built up over time. It's been a few minutes, which wouldn't matter, but you're naturally extremely sweaty and you've been moving a lot. The sweat in that thing could blow a hole through a wall. You'd kill a person with that. Right, but you can dodge. It's enough to keep you occupied long enough for me to handle round face and win this thing. Also, that trick you pulled was annoying. I grinned at him, but I felt like my heart was going to explode instead of his sweat. Great, awesome, I'm gonna die today. And I was just starting to like being my fake identity. I looked around for basically anything I could use. The stairs are behind me. I prepared myself to roll backward as he pulled the pin. I felt the heat scorch me a little, but ignored it in favor of focusing on not hurting myself as I rolled down a flight of stairs. I came back up to 𝐀𝐦, slowly making his way down to him. I felt my back singe in pain I haven't felt since 𝐸𝐸 had hit me with fire. I sucked in my breath as 𝐀𝐦 pinned me against a wall. Where the hell is round face? I don't know. I won't punch your lights out if you tell me. You'll find out soon enough. 𝐀𝐦 whipped around at that, expecting her to jump at him. Instead, all that he was met with was empty quiet. He turned to glare at me. 𝐬𝐸's voice came alive in my ear. I found the weapon. Did 𝐵𝑘𝑢𝐬 kill you? That explosion sounded insane. Just worry about our objective. 𝐀𝐦 still hasn't figured out where you are. 𝐀𝐦 realized then where she was because he raced back up the stairs. All Might announced the hero team as the victors. Our team won. But the battle officially over, I fell to my knees. Kind of. I was caught. 𝐀𝐦 rolled his eyes as he carried me outside. I think I passed out for a few minutes because the next thing I knew a very old woman was glaring at me. I screwed up. High recovery, girl. I think I would have been fine on my own. I've had worse. Young man, your burns were bad enough to have blacked out for 10 minutes. The time it took for them to realize you needed my help. Oh man, I missed Shoto's match. Young Akatani, you slept through all of the matches. I frowned. That wasn't supposed to happen. I guess I could just bug the others to share some details of their matches. I was really looking forward to Hitoshi's match. He never used his quirk on day 1, so they must be so surprised. May I stand up? Yes, dear. Do you need to call home to get someone to pick you up? I shook my head. The idea of Himiko or Taoya coming to pick me up made me want to lay down in a coffin. Neither of them was clean as far as their quirk usage went, especially in regards to crime. That is not a conversation I wanted to have yet. I'll be good on my own. I need to chow. I realized that I was wearing my school uniform, which meant someone changed my clothes for me. I wanted to throw up. Your friend, who almost killed you might I add, changed your clothes. He said, anyone else in the nerd might throw up. I assume he wasn't off. No, that's true. I'm just gonna go now. Ooh, see you tomorrow, All Might. See you then, young WM child. All Might stuttered nervously before holding the door open for me. I grabbed my backpack by the wall of the infirmary before heading outside. Taoya probably called a few times. As it turns out, Himiko called about 8 times, exactly 5 minutes between each call, and texted 10 times that. I pressed the callback button. Kuma, we've been worried sick. You didn't respond to any of my calls or texts since I know how much you hate social interaction. The school didn't answer when I called both times, and you're lucky Taoya's out, or otherwise you would be in worse trouble and someone might have been lit on fire. Do you have anything to say for yourself? Combat training was fun. Kumo, I dodged the majority of the blast. It just singed my skin a little. I listened to Himiko complain about giving her gray hair at 16 and having to explain to a cat why her best friend wouldn't be coming home. She didn't seem too angry, mostly worried about me, and let me off the hook for now. I arrived home with a new burn scar on my back. It was a stream coursing across my spine. It started just below my shoulder blades and ended above my waist. Himiko poked it to see if anything would come of it. Pain came of it. I gathered Cookie in my arms to let her know I was not leaving her yet and tucked Eri next to her to hold both of them. Eri mumbled something about how I should get some sleep and passed out, I think. Hey, Himiko. It had been about 15 minutes since I was sure Eri fell asleep. What's Taoya doing right now? He's looking for a job. A real one, not just info brokering. Oh, cool. Taoya didn't have many skills. Getting a job might be hard for him even if we exclude his appearance. I guess he has to try at least. So, how many of your classmates looked cute covered in blood? Himiko, I didn't see anyone bleed. I was the worst injury overall and I got burned. Oh, that's no fun. Sorry. I promise if Kakin decides to cut someone during training, I'll keep an eye out. Okay, thanks. You're disappointed. Why? I didn't get to see the other matches. Himiko can see through our emotions like glass. She's also an expert at handling my scheduled breakdowns at 2 a.m. Well, they have cameras everywhere at your school, right? Maybe they filmed the matches. Yeah, there were cameras so All Might could keep track of us. All Might, why's the #1 hero there? Well, he's teaching at UA. You must be so excited. Yeah, don't let the excitement keep you up too long. You need to sleep. Oh, Keigo dropped something off for you today. Said you might like to eat it. And no, don't worry about any allergies. Why would I be worried? What's in it? Himiko hands me a wrapped-up package. I open it suspiciously. Why wouldn't I be suspicious? Inside is a cake. Specifically, it's a strawberry cheesecake. Oh, that's why. There's a note that says, I baked it myself. Well, the heating process usually takes away the protein that would kill me in strawberries, so I guess it's safe. I'll eat it tomorrow. I'll thank him tomorrow. I want to sleep. Bon nuit mon papa nuage. Good night, Himiko. The lights clicked off. What we were expecting after yesterday's break-in wasn't this. We were just hoping to go to school like normal, and do a special training like normal, and go home like normal. Instead, we have to deal with some warping void with 70-something villains and an angry gamer. 13 Sensei had gotten injured by the warp guy redirecting 13's quirk on them. Currently, I am falling through soup. That's what it feels like to be in a warp gate. And now I'm cold. Oh, I'm submerged in water. I can't swim. I kick around. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. This is like the sludge villain. Oh, I hope Kakin didn't end up here too. A figure approaches from in front. An actual villain is here. A small figure kicks it in the head and I'm lifted out of the water. I'm laid on a boat deck and soon Hitoshi is right next to me. Our savior settles down as well. Oh, it's Asui. Sue, the frog girl. Thanks, Sue. No problem, Akatani-chan. Hitoshi-chan, are you alright? Toshi grumbled something and coughed. Just peeky. I peeked over the edge. The villains were surrounding us. Cool beans. We can deal with that. I don't have a quirk, Sue is a frog, and Hitoshi needs all of them to respond. This should be fine. Okay, frogs are suited for the water. They clearly don't know our quirks, so we should use that to our advantage. I'm good at that. Can I bluff? Feel free, Toshi. Don't fuck it up. Hitoshi stands up and grins at them. Go ahead, moving closer. We're waiting. You can't scare us, kid. You don't know any of our quirks. We can tell you're all aquatic-based. That's why you're here, right? A little bit of, say, fire would stop you guys from hurting us. Do you still want to come closer? The villains talked among each other quietly. I pulled out the taser gun I was so nicely provided. I tapped Sue and held up the gun. She nodded and wrapped her tongue around my waist. No, get those thoughts out of your head. I climbed onto the edge and hopped off. Sue held me just above the water. The villains noticed me and I grinned at them. One swam towards me. I aimed the gun at him and shot. He shook a bit and he went limp and shot up as the entire fake ocean was electrocuted. They all stopped moving and I retracted the stunning part of the gun. Sue brought me back up. Toshi grinned at me. Sue stared out over the fake ocean and turned towards us. Now that the water is electrically charged, we can't swim through it. How far can you jump? And can you carry both of us with you? Sue looked towards the land. She then wrapped her tongue around both of us. I hugged Toshi around the neck. Dude, seriously, I'm allowed to hug one of my best friends while we're all tied up. Toshi rolls his eyes as we move through the air. Sue lands us safely. I let go of Toshi after we're set down. The fight happening in the main area is brutal. The gamer villain had been counting Eraserhead's hair falling when he let himself blink. He grabbed Eraserhead, so his quirk is touch-based, and ended up getting socked in the jaw. He made this horrifying creature attack Eraser. The huge creature was pinning Eraserhead to the ground, and I could see his elbow had a huge bit of skin missing. The villain started talking about retreating for now because someone had escaped warning the teachers. Toshi shuffled next to me and muttered something. Sue scrunched her features slightly in thought. Something about this is unnerving. What do you mean? Maybe it's the fact my DR teacher is getting crushed to bits by whatever the fuck that thing is. Sue shook her head. The gamer guy, the 𝗃𝗃𝗧𝗏 called him Shigaraki, lunged at Sue. I had a split-second thought about what happened to Eraser's elbow when he grabbed him. He grabbed Sue's face. I imagined her crumbling to dust in front of me, but nothing happened. You really are a cool guy, Eraserhead, Shigaraki mumbled. Let go of her. I shot the taser gun at him. Sue took a step back as it connected and he shook from the electrical charge before the creature intercepted and tore my taser gun away. I gulped as it towered over me. Shigaraki was currently grunting in pain. The creature, now according to Dusty, grabbed my arm and lifted me. I could see Sue reaching for me and Shigaraki going for her and Hitoshi. The sound of a door being slammed open followed. Have no fear, for I am here. All Might had arrived, and with it some hope. I only hoped things would be okay. We gained to continue playing. Shigaraki left Toshi and Sue be. We were waiting for you, hero. Or should I say you hero trash. All Might landed in front of us. He picked up Eraserhead. Namu had let me go and Sue took that moment to hop us away from the villains. All Might passed Eraserhead off to us and got ready to fight. We stood nearby as he fought. All Might's attacks didn't do anything and even he called it out. Shigaraki held the answer for us. Look no farther than Namu's ability, shock absorption. If you really wanted to hurt him, you'd have to scoop out his guts slowly. Though him letting you do that is a different story. Shigaraki's scratchy, I haven't had water this entire year, was something else. The four of us made our way over to most of our classmates. All Might was steadily fighting the guy. A whole lot of steam was building up. Hira-chan was screaming at us. I didn't hear it. All Might had pulled Namu down and now he had half his body through the 𝗃𝗃𝗧𝗏. Namu was digging his hand into All Might's stomach. I passed Eraserhead off to Tsu and rushed towards the fight. 𝐾𝐦 popped out of fucking nowhere and took the 𝗃𝗃𝗧𝗏 down. I vaguely heard Hitoshi following. Hiroshima was right behind 𝐾𝐦 and Shoto-kun appeared quickly as well. Shoto froze the Namu, who is still stuck in the 𝗃𝗃𝗧𝗏. All Might rushed out of his grip. 𝐾𝐦 started talking about the 𝗃𝗃𝗧𝗏 hiding his true body with the mist. Shigaraki complimented us, which was just as unnerving. You try anything and I'll explode your whole body until there's nothing left. Whoa buddy, that ain't very heroic. Hiroshima's response to 𝐾𝐦's above-average threat. Namu, go ahead and finish Explosion Boy over there. We're rescuing our 𝗃𝗃𝗧𝗏. My skin chilled as he said that. Namu got up and half of his body ripped away. Well, that's horrifying. Wait, Namu has an exposed brain. There was that thing a while back. A body in the alley with an exposed brain. Oh, we saw one of these. Which means we'd need fire to take it down. Shoto-kun. We need fire to take this thing down. Okay, wasn't his quirk shock absorption? I never said that was the full extent of his abilities. Namu also has regeneration. He's that boss with high HP and heals every third turn. He was created to withstand 100% of your power. 𝐾𝐦, you dodged him. No dumbass. All Might stood, blood soaking through his shirt. He was in the spot 𝐾𝐦 had been moments before. That makes sense. All Might saved him. Have you no mercy? We had no choice. We had to save our ally. And not long ago, one of your kids. Which one? Oh, the plain one with the scar. He shot me and almost caused me to have another seizure. And for whom do you think he mustered such touching acts of violence? Hero. Plain. Akatani isn't plain. Next time you see him, he might have red hair and green eyes. I shook my head at Shoto as Shigaraki started to speak again. All Might, I'm ticked off. We're all categorized as heroes or villains, but at the end of the day, violence is violence. And who gets to decide who is which? Society does. Symbol of peace, give me a break. You're nothing more than a bludgeon of oppression yourself. Violence only breeds more violence, and once we kill you, that'll be made known to the world. Hey, Shigaraki, I swear I was thinking before I said this. Violence for the sake of violence is what makes a villain, and violence in defense of others is what makes a hero. Also, you're right about violence breeding more violence. But if you really were against that, you'd be protesting violence, not participating in it. Please, children, escape. You're annoying. Tell him something he doesn't know, Krusty. I wanted to hit Hitoshi for that one. What did you call me? I called you Krusty, Mr. Dusty. Can you not hear? Destroy your ear canals with your quirk. Shut the hell up. You brats are so annoying. Shigaraki scratched at his neck before his hand fell limp. The warp gate floated towards him and asked a few questions met with silence. He looked over at us. What did you do to him? Careful, Hitoshi's quirk works by pissing people off. You are Hitoshi, correct? So what if I am? If you do not undo this, I will have no choice but to kill you. The warp gate got all quiet then. Both of you sit down, calmly. Let All Might tie you up. Shoto sent a wave of flames at Naoma, but he did nothing in response. So he only moves on orders. Shoto sent up a wave of ice to hold it in place completely. The Naoma was encased entirely. So, what now? Hitoshi yelped as Shigaraki rushed at us. All Might met him and sent him flying. We got blown back a bit by the wind generated. The warp gate was freed from Hitoshi's control by the head. I need you four to go now. I will defeat this. But you struggled to do anything, All Might. Besides, I caught it in ice completely. It would have to break itself completely to get out. Young Todoroki, it may still free itself, and I could fight better knowing you four are away from here and safe. I grabbed Shoto-kun's hand and dragged him away while Kaken and Kirishima followed behind. Shigaraki had disappeared from my sight, which sucked on a good day. Naoma was actively trying to get out of the ice. The warp gate left to go help Shigaraki. I could see him at least. Naomu snapped out of the ice and All Might punched as he met Naomu's attack. Several blows were exchanged and soon Naoma was sent flying. A hole in the dome was created. Naomu didn't come back down. Shigaraki stalked towards All Might as steam rose off of him. I have gotten weaker. That took 300 punches. Shigaraki glared from about 10 feet away. You used cheat codes. There's no way you should have beaten Naomu. No way. You're not weaker, are you? Did Sensei lie to me? What's the matter? Where's your bravado? What happened to clearing the game? I saw Shigaraki scratching at his neck more. He seemed irritated. He stomped around a bit as he muttered things to himself, All Might taunting him some more. The warp gate said something and he lunged at All Might. I felt Kirishima tugging me away as their fight continued. I watched Kaken stop completely and just stare. All Might was coughing up blood, and was that even him? In All Might's place was a shorter, skinny, drug addict-looking man. Shigaraki seemed as surprised as we were, but the fight between those two continued. We had made it over to the main group when I heard screaming. Not like shouting a name, hey you guys are okay, kind of screaming. No, the shrill kind. A scream of terror. I made a point to look at the fight. Shigaraki was standing over All Might, who looked worse than Eraserhead did. I couldn't hear him, but he was talking. He reacted violently when something hit him multiple times. I glanced up and saw Snipe. The other teachers arrived. Shigaraki and the warp gate left and all of the other teachers piled in. Kaken and I rushed over to All Might, who was barely breathing. I did my best to cover his wounds. Midnight, Present Mike, and Cementos came over and Present Mike lead us away. We all gathered outside and told Detective Tsukachi the whole story. I don't remember when, but someone gave me a blanket. All Might had been covered in so much blood. I rocked back and forth a little as we waited. Eraserhead would be okay. His condition wasn't as terrible as he looked and he should make a full recovery. When we asked about All Might, we were met with silence. It was an uncomfortable silence and nervous glances at each other. I didn't try to ask our teachers again. We were told we'd have the next day off. I spent that time trying to figure out all the things I could have done differently, could have done better. Something that I could do next time that I didn't do this time. I found out at the end of the day about All Might's condition. It was on the news. It was on basically every news site that we were attacked. But now the truth was out. All Might, the symbol of peace, died in a villain fight.